Hello, good morning. You're watching Sewing Street. My name is Debbie and we're going to be live here with you for the next 3 hours. We have fabrics in the first hour. We have a brand new offer for you in the second hour with these really cute doorstops. And then in the third hour, we're going to do a little bit of embroidery. So that's what we've got coming up this morning live. If you'd like to come and be part of the show, ask any questions, send us your comments, say hello, and let's have a look at what you've been making. Go to our Facebook page, which is Facebook, it's Facebook, funnily enough. It's Sewing Street TV, and I have the visitor post page open right now. So if you wanted to come and say hello or ask anything, then do feel free. Oh, now also we're running on the Facebook page. If you have a look on there, what other doorstop shops you'd like to see. So we have a Florist and we have a Haberdashery. So what's your favourite shop? What would you like to see on our Sewing Street? I think a pet shop would be nice, personally. And then we can make some little animals and things to go with it, can't we? Or a sweet shop. A sweet shop would be nice. Or a cake shop, a bakery. Put your comments on Facebook. We'd love to hear your ideas as well. Right, you can send us emails as well if you prefer. It's studio@sewingstreet.com. If you'd like to message the studio this morning, it would be nice to hear from you. Now, because you've joined us nice and bright and early, we've got Lewis and Irene fabrics coming up in just a second. I've also got an early bird for you, special offer. At 9 o'clock, we've got the doorstops, and Wendy Orlando has very kindly made a video for us on how to make them up. Embroidery and felting at 10 o'clock this morning, and then 11 and 12 o'clock, we're not live, but we are still sewing. So we have the fabric pens and fabrics at 11, and so different colour box dress is at 12 o'clock midday. So that's it so far. I did mention the early bird. If you haven't seen Sewing Street before, if this is the first time you've been up, there's at the crack of dawn. Well, it's not exactly the crack of dawn. Crack of dawn was about 4:15 this morning. It's nice that when you go to bed in the light and get up in the light, it's like the dark doesn't exist. It's great. We have a special offer for you, just to say thank you for joining us right from the start. But it also means that you can take advantage of a reduced price offer, and then you pay your P&P, and that's something nice to get out of the way, because then for the whole of the rest of the day you can come back and order more and you don't pay any postage. It's like having free postage all day. It's brilliant. So your special offer today is a pack of 4 half-metre cotton fabrics for £10.96. So you're saving £3, you pay your £10.96, you pay your £3.95 postage, and if you come back later on and you think, I'm going to have a doorstop, or I want something off the website, maybe anything from a sewing machine to a packet of needles, we won't charge you any extra postage until midnight tonight. So have a look at the size of these that you're getting first of all. So this is Sky. Not the sky at the moment, is it? Bit grey. Oh, I nearly got caught in the rain yesterday. Glorious sunshine, nice and warm, not too hot to walk the dog. So off we went for a little potter, and the heavens opened. Thunder, storms, everything. And then 5 minutes later, we're all wet and it's all sunny again. Anyway, I like the sky looking like this, is where I was going. And I like the sky looking like this, maybe bleeding into the sea looking like that. I can't do sand for you, I can do a cloud or two. Quilting weight cotton, 100%. It's nice quality, that one as well. And that's working out at, what, about £2.30 each? And that's good for half a metre. Right, so you've got the Sky, you've got a navy, you've got a... Yeah, you'd normally pay about that for a fat quarter, wouldn't you? And half a metre is, in effect, 2 fat quarters. We've got a cream and we've got the beige. So you've got some good mix and match fabrics. The kind of fabrics that you can build up your stash with, not necessarily use them all together if you don't think they go. But when you come to see other fabrics and you think, oh, what have I got to go with that? Or what have I got to go with that? Or if you're making, or if you were to chop this up, it works out at £1.37 per fat quarter. So you could do clocks. That would go nicely with the cream one. See? So they're a good basic selection of colours to match with so many different fabrics. That's a nice one, isn't it? I could spend all morning doing that. I love colour matching. So that's early bird. We'll keep the price low while we have the stock, or until the end of the day, and then the price is going to go up by £3. May as well have your £3 in your pocket. Now, if you're making anything like the doorstops, the pellets are invaluable for helping weight it down. So maybe you're making a pincushion and you want the base to be heavy and it's not going to roll all over your worktop or your table. Doorstops, absolutely perfect because they're a really good weight. It could be maybe a draft excluder, or how about if you're making fabric flowers and you're filling up little pots with them, instead of using Oasis, fill it up with that and then stick your stick in there. So then you can take it out again without leaving a hole. These are recycled plastic pellets, and they're quite heavy. They're quite tactile as well. When you open the bag, when you get them home, put your hand in them. Oh, they just feel like a stress ball. There's a whole kilogram in here for your £5.99. And of course they're not. You can, no extra postage. Remember, if you've already ordered your early bird. But I think it's a good idea to go for the pellets. Certainly if you're making something like a doorstop, if there's any chance of the doorstop getting wet, because after all it'll be on the floor. So you can use rice in doorstops. If it gets wet, it's going to swell, and eventually you will need to change the rice. It'll take a while, but you know, rice and barley and all that kind of thing, it's degradable, so you will have to change them at some point. Or you could use something like sand, which can be wet and heavy, and it's not nice if it gets wet. So these are nice and clean and recycled, so we're doing our bit. And they're only £5.99, and I reckon you could get 4 doorstops out of that. Maybe it's something like toys and ornaments that sit on shelves. I'm thinking, you know, like Elf on a Shelf, and he's got his skinny legs, but he's got a very firm bottom. So then it's not going to fall off, or things like bookends. That'd be a good idea. Or even if you have, you know, like the those triangular shaped things that we put our laptops and mobile phones on, tablet stands. That's the one. Just put a bag of those in the base, and it keeps it from kind of rolling over. So really useful. First time we've had them for you. £5.99 is your price there. Julie sent a message. Hi, Julie. Morning, she says. Love the new doorstops. I'd love to see a pet shop for the next one. I'm with you on a pet shop. I think that'd be a really nice idea. We could have, mind you, not birds in cages. No, we don't like birds in cages. Hannah, producer, thinks it'd be fun to have them escaping out of the window. See, the birds and the animals leaving the ark. So we've got Haberdashery and Florist. What would you like to see? I like the pet shop. Or we could have like a garage, couldn't we, with a mechanic and old-fashioned cars. Oh no, the old-fashioned Shell petrol pumps. Remember those? You could have those outside. That'd be good. Are you going to? I mean, if we bring you a whole street of doorstops, are you going to buy the whole street and make them up and put them? What are you going to do with them? Have them as ornaments in the window, I think. They don't have to be doorstops, do they? Doorstops is the next hour. We're talking about fabric in this one. The plastic pellets is in the 3rd hour. We have Lewis and Irene fabrics. And lots of them in lots and lots of different designs. So are you ready? Because we're going to have a flick through. And I just thought, you know, what are you going to do? You've got some really good priced fabric. I want a really quick project. I want something that's really useful. I'm just going to make a drawstring bag. As a gift bag, I'll do that later on because it's going to take me half an hour to get through these. Because I'm trying not to use paper for wrapping anymore. And besides, I don't like wrapping presents. I don't know about you. I'm not a fan of wrapping. Bags are a lot easier. I'd rather spend a day making a bag than 5 minutes wrapping in paper. Anyway, let's take a look at the first one. We have multiple flowers in multiple colours. And this is from the Hummingbird range, which is a really popular range from Lewis and Irene. It's £6.99 for half a metre, and it's 112 centimetres wide, and you've got a quilting weight of cotton, so it's a really good sturdy weight, not just for quilting. There's no reason why you couldn't make a little blouse or a dress out of this. It's £6.99 for half a metre. If you wanted a metre, then order 2 units and it'll come in one piece. So it is, you could dress make with this quite simply, quite easily. I'm thinking a shift dress would be nice for that one. Then we have from the Hummingbird range. No hummingbirds on it, it's just flowers, but it's from the Hummingbird range. And this is in a beautiful rose colour, so pink in the middle bit, and then like a rosy corally colour in the background. We've got tulips with mice in them. And you know, considering you've got tulips with mice with it as a little bit of fun, doesn't it look elegant? It's really classy. And I love the background. The mice don't kind of leap out at you, they're all asleep. So then you don't look at this initially and think there's mice in those tulips. You just see really pretty flowers. But I like that, it's a little bit of fun. And it's similar with this one. Now these are back in stock again. These have been really popular, the both of them. Because when you first look at this one, well, let me open it up and show you, because all you're going to see is like medallions. But then when you look closely, they're tigers. Isn't that a clever design? So this is back in stock. This has been reordered because it's so busy. So we've got it back in stock and we've taken £1 off. I'd order that if you want it before somebody upstairs notices and thinks, oh, we got that wrong, better put £1 back on it again. So that's the red. We also have Tiger on black. Now these are all on the website, so we're going through quite quickly because there's a lot. Or you can write down the name and the number that you see on the screen up there and just give the call centre a ring. That's Tiger on black. And again, tigers that aren't leaping out at you, they're quite subtle tigers. And again, that's £5.99, and that again is a reorder because we sold out before. Cat's napping coming up next. This looks quite retro to me, like 1960s style of chairs. We've only got 4 metres of this one left now. And this, I know last time we brought you this, reminds me of a TV in the 1960s, that when it was black and white telly. I can't remember where that came from, but I've gone back to there. Or the stars from Bewitched. Remember? I used to love Bewitched. Hannah Producer says it's one of her favourite programmes. Is that on repeats now? It must probably is somewhere, isn't it? I love her mother, a real character. And poor Darren. Sandcastles on blue. Maybe making beach bags. Beach bags, what about cushions? What about something for the garden, for the kids? Or the bathroom, maybe you've got a beachy theme in your bathroom. Tend to have I have had a beachy bathroom, a nautical bathroom before. You've got it on gold as well. I haven't really got any themed rooms in the house at the moment. I had an African themed bedroom in our last house. £5.99. These again, half a metre wide. And then we've got clock faces on blues. That'd go. That's nice, isn't it? Again at £5.99, and we have the same print, but this time on gold. I only got 7 metres of this one left. Then we have crowns. Again, if you want more than your half metre, they do come all in one long length. If you wanted to order a metre or a couple of metres, that's absolutely fine. I think in bedrooms with this one. Oh no, there's only 4 meters left, so that's the most you can do. But I'm thinking, I mean, gift bags with that would be nice, wouldn't it? Or PE bags, or little shoe bags maybe, ballet pumps, Union Jack hearts. They're all very different styles, aren't they? This is a nice, a smaller print, and it's non-directional, so you're not going to, well, you make the most of your fabric when you do that, but you could individually cut out those pieces and maybe do a little bit of applique, or if you're English paper piecing, little hexagons, that would look nice, or squares even, really pretty. I think you need a red to go with that. Then we've got the blossoms. This is quite wintry because we've got kind of fern leaves. I don't think it's Christmassy particularly, but I do think it's very wintry. It looks icy. So we've got little beads, and then the sycamore. So EAUL41 if you wanted to order that one. So that's winter in bluebell on the light fabric, and we've also got the same print but on the silver grey fabric. It's quite Tilda-esque, this one, isn't it? If that's a word. Well, that goes, doesn't it? See how useful your early bird's going to be. Right, those are all £5.99. That'd be a nice one to make gift bags with, wouldn't it? If you're getting ready for Christmas. Apparently 28 weeks till Christmas. I know, better get shopping. This one's back in stock, and it's a little bit special, this one, because it glows in the dark. So these are anything in gold, so the little fairies and the butterflies. When the lights go down, they've got like they're fluorescent. They glow gold. They glow yellow. £4.99. That's a good price for Lewis and Irene, isn't it? And particularly when you've got a glow-in-the-dark fabric. Extra process. So maybe a child's bedroom, wash bags. No reason why you can't make a pair of curtains out of it. Let me open it up and show you. I'm just thinking cushion covers. It's still washable. The glow-in-the-dark bits don't wash off when it goes in the wash, so that's fine. For things like bedding and pillowcases, cushions, so laundry bag to hang on the back of the door. Maybe you're going to make a storage box to keep toys in. Covering the top of a toy box, maybe, with a lid on there, put a bit of padding. That'd be a nice idea. So a little bit of padding. So we've got some polyester wadding on the website, so a couple of layers of that, and then staple this over the top, and a nice bit of binding around the edge would be fabulous, wouldn't it? Oh, pyjama bag for when the kids go off to visit Grandma and Grandad for weeks on end, when we're allowed to. I think we are allowed to, aren't we, if there's 6 of you? Don't know. £4.99 for that one. That goes really well, doesn't it? Again, this turquoise just goes so well. Don't take my word for whether... I'm not saying you can go and see all your family again. I'll just rewind that one a bit. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for that. Sorry, Boris. I know he's watching. £4.99 again for half a metre. This is lavender hedgehogs. We've only got 4 meters of this one left now. Only again £4.99. Lewis and Irene for under £5 for half a metre. It's crazy. Sorry, Lewis and Irene. Same print, but this time with the grey. And then same again, but on a cream. In fact, they'd all go really well together. Cream. Then we have dragonflies. And that's quite subtle as well, isn't it? because it looks like crosses until you look closely. But there's loads of detail on there. All the little veins in the wings and antennae and things really stand out. And I love this colour. This seems to be a very popular colour at the moment. £4.99 again for half a metre. Those two, these two go really well together, but they're very different prints, but the colour's perfect, because this one's rosettes and that one's dragonfly, but they kind of go, don't they? I like the rosettes. We've got first, second and third, I think, on there. Yeah. I went to a dog show once, and there was only one dog, it wasn't mine, in a particular category, and it came third. No, nobody else in the whole show, but it still came third. You'd give up, wouldn't you? We used to show, that's the same print, sorry, but this time on a blue background. We used to show an English Bull Terrier a few years ago. And they're the funniest of dogs, I love them. But when we pulled up outside the showground, somebody had left their Bull Terrier in the car, and it was just tearing at the car seat in front of it, bits of leather flying all over the place. He's going to be in trouble when the owners come back. Window was open, and it wasn't a hot day, so reasonably responsible. This is not, ticking is notoriously, it frays a lot and it twists a lot because it's got quite a loose weave. So ticking is traditionally used for mattresses, on beds. This is a ticking print, so you don't have the issues. You don't have the loose weave that's going to twist, you don't have the curling up at the edges like ticking tends to do, and you don't have the fraying that you do with ticking. So it's a ticking print. So that's nice, kitchen-y kind of things, isn't it, for ticking? So that's the rose, this one is the mint. Or as it was mattresses, then bedrooms would be quite good. Oh yes, bed linen. So you can order more than half a metre at a time, but that'll make nice pillowcases. And window seats, Roman blind would be nice with that, wouldn't it? I'd do it that way for a Roman blind, personally. Again, £4.99 is your price there. Oh, hi Dawn. Hi Dawn. Dawn's always there. I haven't got you. I can't see anybody. Are we on? We're on Sewing Street and on Community, and I think I just needed to refresh. Oh, here she is. Hi Dawn. Great to see you on a Wednesday. Makes Hump Day more bearable. What's Hump Day? What? Oh, it's because it's the middle of the week, like a camel's back. I've never heard of that one before. So, Carol as well. Hi. Carol needs a new self-healing cutting mat and was just wondering if there was one that you would recommend in A1 size. Do we do an A1? I don't know. A1, A4, A3, A2. Is that double A3? No, double A3 will be A2. A1's huge, isn't it? I don't think we do them that big. We do an extra large Millwood one, but I don't know how big it is. We'll have a look and we'll find out for you. Hi Andrea. She's good morning, Debbie. Nice surprise to see you this morning. Do you know, I'll be honest, it was a surprise for me. I forgot I was supposed to be coming in. Because I'm normally in on a Sunday and a Monday, but I swapped today, forgot about it. I haven't admitted this yet. And then when Hannah, producer, messaged me last night saying, do you want to talk about tomorrow's shows? I was like, that'll be nice. If she hadn't have texted me, this would be bare. Well, actually, no, to be Hannah, wouldn't it? Sunny and blue skies in Lincolnshire. Oh, good. Oh, good. I might get my studio finished. They're supposed to come, my shed, it's a big shed. They were supposed to come and finish it yesterday or today, weather depending. Should we look at some more fabric? I'd better do my job, hadn't I? Our extra large cutting mat, sorry, who is that? Carol, is out of stock, I'm afraid, at the moment. But Millwood's a good brand if you want one that size and you're shopping around. I use Olfa. They tend to be quite expensive, but I like them. Let's go in the kitchen. Lots of you checking out your baskets, jolly good. If you're ordering on the website, that's sewingstreet.com, you can have a look at all of the rest of the fabrics that are coming up before me, because we've got loads. Or you can, oh, that goes nicely. And that goes in. Yeah. Or you can order on the phone lines, 0800 001 4433. So is it going to be a fruit bag, a vegetable bag, a storage box to keep on your kitchen windowsill? Could it be a carrier bag dispenser? It could be a carrier bag. You could make a bag for life out of this to take to the supermarket. Markets. I drive through Melton Mowbray on my way into work, and all the market stalls were up this morning, so it looks like they're up and running again. I'm not saying that's allowed. I'm not getting. Sorry, Boris. I'm not getting involved with it. £4.99 for half a metre. What? How about curtains or a blind in your kitchen? That'd be nice. You could be making your tea cozies and your oven gloves, and lining a wicker basket, or making a draft excluder. £4, or an apron would be nice in that, wouldn't it? So £4.99 is your price there. We have, ever heard of Hump Day? That's Wizards on Grey. If your kids are fans, what about book covers? Dress-up outfits, maybe. Again, drawstring bags, things for storage, children's bedrooms, adults' bedrooms. My daughter-in-law is a huge Harry Potter fan. Yes. £4.99 again for half a metre. Islands and skies. Don't you wish you were? Oh, that could be me on the boat, with bikini on. Done that for a long time. Little heart-shaped islands, look. All 2 metres apart. £4.99 again is your price there. That, again, beach bags, it's got to be, hasn't it, for that one? Or bathrooms. No holidays for us this year. Dinos. The kids go through a dinosaur fair and buy one. So the cyclists would ride around beach towns and you just wave them down like a taxi and go and buy an ice cream. That's a nice idea. Rosemary's parents used to have an ice cream shop, and her dad made the best ice creams ever. Never made ice cream. Dinosaurs on grey. Dinosaurs on blue. That was that was another one that David used to like. I just can't remember. It's a 5-horned beast, it translates as, Mum. And a Stegosaurus and a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that's about as far as my dinosaur knowledge goes. Pyjamas would be nice out of that, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, kids' clothes, a nice little a shirt, pair of shorts, a lunch bag, a backpack, an explorer's backpack. You can't go wrong with dinosaurs for kids, I think. Any kind of age, boys or girls, they all love them at some point. Underground. See, first looking at it, I thought it was stitches, and it was only when I saw the title of this being called Underground, I think, oh yes. I don't know what all the stations would be, but it does have that kind of look. I'd love to see a documentary on how the underground was built, because I don't know where they put all the dirt when it came out. It must have been an awful lot. What did they do with that? And how would they figure out, in Victorian days, all of the different levels? Because it's kind of all over the place. How do they breathe underground? This is pins in violet. That's fun, isn't it? Like lollies. Again, that's £4.99. All of these are £4.99. They're all 112 centimetres wide, and they are 100% cotton. Still looking to see your messages. Oh, got that. I have to come off it and go back on again. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. Oh, Amanda has, she loves the rosette fabric and she loves English Bull Terriers. We have a wire fox terrier. Oh, what's his name? Or her name? She's got a coat on. We can make a dog coat. And Kirsty, hi Kirsty, morning Deb, what a lovely surprise to see you this morning. Thank you. It's a bit misty in Northampton, but I can see it starting to burn off. Oh, good. Oh, right, more pins. This is on like a pale grey, very pale grey background, but it's not quite white. I'm going to make my drawstring bag out of this, I think. And I think I'm going to line it with the underground because I like the two colours together. That's what I'm going to do. And then finally, so I told you to take me half an hour to get through these. This was supposed to be a quick flick through. That's the final one, which is Pins on Lemon, and again at £4.99. If you go to the website, if you just joined it, I'm not going back through them again. That'll be another half hour and then the show's over. If you go to sewingstreet.com, you will see a video. It'll be me on it at the moment. It'll be on the Jewellery Maker website, so don't be perturbed by that. We share a website at the moment, and underneath the video is all of the products that we have in these 3 live shows, but then you can click on the catalogue and that'll take you into all of the different categories of everything else that we have available for you at Sewing Street. Fairy Houses, a quarter of the stock of that one sold out now. This was a reorder. So we've sold out of that one previously. This is the glow in the dark one. Wish I could show you that, but I can't. But it does when they kind of glow golden. It's really clever, does that? So we've got little fairies and butterflies that glow in the dark. I mean, they're not flashing lights or anything. It's not going to keep your kids awake at night, but it is very subtle. I like the colours of this as well. It's like just the neutrals, like the taupes and the browns. But that's really, really busy again, and that is a back in stock. All glow in the dark pyjamas. Apparently there was an article about somebody making glow in the dark pyjamas, and mum telling the kids that they had to lie on the floor to charge them up. Lie still on the floor to charge them up. Oh, Amanda's message back. Her fox terrier is called Mabel. Oh, and Doorstops, how about a greengrocer's? That'd be a nice one. And Christine's messaged, morning Debbie, can you tell us the width of the ticking fabric? I think it's 112. Let me double check. That's 112 centimetres wide, so you've got just over 1 metre in length and half a metre, sorry, in width and half a metre in length. Now, any more questions do come through to Facebook, and we shall endeavour to answer them for you. Right, should we do a bit of sewing? I was thinking with drawstring bags, really useful little, so I hadn't threaded up the machine or anything this morning. Really useful, not just for gift bags, but for storage as well. I'll tell you what looks nice, if you have like a row of old-fashioned school coat hooks kind of thing with just drawstring bags in different fabrics hanging off them, and keep all of your bits and bobs for sewing in there, maybe, particularly with the pins fabric would be appropriate. Or when your kids eventually go back to school, because I'm not saying that they can go back, but when they eventually go back to school, there could be plimsoll bags, put their name on them. Right, let's just thread you up and let's get organised. So really simple project, which could be any size you like. So it could be a large laundry bag. That's a bit messy in there. Vegetable bag, bread bags. Just going into the cellar. Just need a cutting mat. And so organised today. So I just imagine when when I leave here on a Monday afternoon, that everything stays in exactly the same place till I get back again, because I haven't got my ruler. I would like a 24.5 by 6.5 inch ruler, please. That one. Thank you. Right, this is really simple. It won't take very long at all. So first thing I'm going to do is to chop off those selvages. This is a nice cutting mat. This is the Janome one, isn't it? I like the grey. So that comes off there. And what kind of base shall we do on this one? Shall we have a square base? Let's do that one where you tuck it up. Should we do that one? Because that's quite different. Different ways of doing this. Let's do quite a big one. So I'll need a couple of rectangles, 2 for the outside, 2 for the lining. That's not going to be so big, but I can get more out of it then, can't I? This feels nice. It's nice to have good quality fabric to work with because it just feels so nice. I'll move that and then chop this off. What do you do with your selvages? I did make Selvage Sally, and it was a rag doll, and I saved all of the selvages and frayed them a bit, and that was her hair. And then her dress was just a band with lots and lots of selvages floating off it, so she looked a bit like a fairy. So what do you do with yours? Right, so that goes on there. Should do that again. The idea or the intention when I did Selvage Sally was to create a whole load of rag dolls with different names. So I was going to have Patchwork Pete, and there was going to be a Buttons the dog. Sorry. And the producer has just come up with Crocheted Cassandra. She wants to learn to crochet because they have a local crochet and wine evening, and at the moment she can only do the wine. I'll measure this for you in a second, because we're not looking at any particular size, to be honest. Right, saving those. I'm measuring these in at 15 inches by 11. And these bits that I've chopped off, I'm going to use that one, are going to be a channel where the drawstring goes. So that needs to be 2 inches by the width of the bag. But it's not going to be sewn into the seam, as you shall see in a second. So I just need to plug my iron in. Sorry, do bear with me. I didn't know I was going to be doing this morning, so I wasn't ready at all. Just the way things happen. Okay. So that's what we have. I'm not going to use any interfacing or fusible fleece on this one. There was a question from yesterday that I think came through just after we'd finished, asking what the fleece was that I use, and it's H640, so she couldn't find it on the website, but I don't know whether it's actually in stock at the moment. But that's by the by. I'm not using it on this one because I don't think it needs it. So I'm just ironing the creases out of that. And that iron's nicely, not even hot yet. And with the channel bits, I'm going to fold the edges over, or just to the centre. And that one to the centre. So because I've cut that 2 inches and I'm in effect folding it in half, that should be 1 inch wide. I'm also going to fold the ends in by 1/2 inch. Should have done that first. And that can go there. Ooh. And the same on this one. Lots lots of different ways of doing a drawstring, but it's quite nice, I think, to do it this way because you get the contrast stripe across it. So again, fold to the centre. Oh no, we'll do the ends first, that's easier. 1/2 inch at each end, 1/2 inch here, and then long bits to the middle. Right, so it's quite quick as well, this one. Which means that if you've got quite a few to make, you could be able to bash them out. You could, is that not a phrase? That would do that. Oh, there we go. And that's going to go across there, but we need to make sure that the seam allowance I'm going to use 1/4 inch, so I've got a gap in each end so I can actually thread some ribbon through there. And let's do that. See, I could have done that. I thought they've got written on them. They've got something written on those. Oh no, they've just got a silvery sheen. But they look a little bit pin-like, I thought. So the colours match really well. And the colour does as well. The pattern does. Right, pins. Oops. It's nice to have everything to hand, isn't it? So I can measure against, let's go there. So I'm about, oh, I've got centimetres on this side. I'm not good at centimetres. I'm 5 centimetres from the top. And I'm just going to pin that. So that's where your cutting mat comes in again, because I'm just lining it up with this line here. And then the same with this side. With the other piece. So 5 centimetres, 2.5 inches basically. And then I'm going to stitch down each side just to hold that in place. So make sure you reverse at the start and the end of the seam, because there's going to be a bit of pressure on this when you get the drawstring in there. And just so quite close to the edge, because you need to thread your ribbon through here, or a cord would be nice actually. And scissors. The cutting mat we've been asked about. It's a self-healing Janome cutting mat, and imperial on one side and metric on the other. So I'm just going to turn that over because I'm better at inches myself. Let's sew down this side. And it's £21.99, which is a jolly good price for a cutting mat. And I like the grey, so it's a little bit different. Cutting mats tend to be green for some reason. Alright, so let's snip off these little bits to make it tidy. Like that. And then same on the other side. Oh, not had that before. Sorry, my foot pedal popped out. Take the pins out as you go. You don't want to run over those. And again, reverse at the end. And pull that through. I got very close to the edge there, just make sure that I've actually got the fabric underneath it. Alright, so there we go. And reverse back. So that's the channels on. Let me put my pins away. They never seem to go back in the pot the way they came out, do they? Pins. Right, so that's that. Now we're going to sew the top of the lining to the top of the outer bag on both pieces. And again, just using the edge of my foot as a seam allowance, which is around about 1/4 inch, but it's only a give bag, so it doesn't matter. If it's a little bit more, a little bit less, as long as you don't sew over the ends of those channels. So backwards. And the same with this one. It's nice that you don't have to worry about the fabric being the right way around as well. And there we go. Don't forget to keep thinking of your suggestions for the doorstops. What kind of shops would you like to see? We've had ice cream shop and pet shop and greengrocers. And there we are, that's like that. And then we'll put right sides together. And we're going to sew all the way around, but leave a gap in the side, not in the base, like we'd normally do. And then seams matching. And sew down the sides. So I'm going to leave my gap here, so let's just go backwards and then leave the gap. I think we should actually have a sewing surgery. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. Look, I'm all over the place with that. I'm not actually doing that at the moment, so I'm going to pull that out. So ignore that bit. Don't look at this. This is a good time to go and order your doorstop. Or the fabric. Or go and have a look on the website at other things that are coming up later on maybe. There you go. You have a look at that, because I'm not unpicking things that I've done wrong at all. I just forgot that I was doing it this way. Fairy fabric's the most popular at the moment, so have a look on sewingstreet.com. Oh, the veg is doing really well as well, the veg market. That would make a useful drawstring bag, wouldn't it? So our supermarket's got paper bags to put your vegetables in these days, which is a good idea. Not very strong though. Right, so I'm going to sew the bottoms together now. That was seamless. Nothing happened while you were looking at that at the website information. Nothing to see here. Oh, a fire station, that would be a nice one. Not exactly a shop, but mind you, it would be, but you wish it was, I know. Up there. But if it's just going to be a whole street, let's do this one. We have, for years, the years that I've lived in the village that I live in, we've never had a shop. We have a post office that comes in a van for half a day, a few days a week, but that's it. So the nearest shop to us is about 8 miles away. But they have recently built a shop. And it made me smile, because when you see all these things going up, there's going to be a little housing estate being built. So they built the shop right on the edge. It's in a quarry. And they built it all out of timber. So I thought, wouldn't it be better with brick? I'm no builder, but there's complete timber building. And then when they put the doors and the window in, they're tiny, and they've got these big metal grills all over them. So when they shut up shop, they shut the door and then they put the grill up. So I thought, what kind of neighbourhood do you think we live in? I thought they go to all of this trouble to put all of these bars against the window, and it's made out of wood. You just saw a hole in if you wanted to get in there, wouldn't you? Don't think they thought that through. Not that it would ever cross my mind, which is all that security. Anyway, what we're going to do now is to take the bottom piece. So I've sewn across the top and the bottom, so I've got a big tube. And I'm going to take the bottom piece and fold it up so it goes like in the shape of a letter M. So that goes up there and that goes down there. Right? So I've got that shape at the side. The bigger that fold, the wider the base is going to be, but I'll do that to 1.5 inches or thereabouts. And that goes over there. And the folds need to be the same, and the bottom seam needs to be right on the edge of the fold there. And we'll pin it. And then I'll do the same in the opposite end. Like so. So measure them so that they're all the same when you're doing it at home. And now we're going to sew down each side and leave a gap. It's like déjà vu. Leave a gap in the side so that we can turn it the right side out. So right from the end, over the folded bit, all the way down. And remember, we don't want to sew over the end of those channels. That yellow sandcastles fabric, by the way, it's about to sell out. So if you've got that in your website, in your basket, on the website, can you check out? We've only got 2 meters of that one left. That's about to go. Oh, no. Why didn't that do that? So that's folded up there. That should sit on the bottom. And that should meet at the side, but it's not. So what have I done wrong there? Let's take that out and do it again. Hadn't got that quite folded up properly with the seam right in the middle, because that should be the same length as that one, which it is now. But it's not there. Sorry, I'm unpicking again. I tell you what we could do with that that unpicker thing, that electric one, which I think we have back in stock next week. Because that might be easier than this. Twice in one project, I'm unpicking. Thank you. Right. So this is your electronic stitch remover. Look at that. So I've deliberately made a seam in the wrong place just to show you how this stitch unpicker actually works. There you go. So it's just going through, look at that. Just going through the stitches, not the fabric. There, that's all unpicked. So that was deliberate. So you there, you go there, you go in there, you fold up there, you come out there, and then we sew all the way around the side. Just got my thread caught. So coming up to that channel at the side, I can see where the stitches end there, so I'm just making sure I'm not sewing over that. And now my seams match here, over the edge, back onto the lining side, and I need to leave the gap, so let's go backwards there, and slip that underneath, and carry on sewing here, so backwards to secure, and then straight down to the bottom, but we're not sewing across the bottom, we're leaving that folded. And then we'll do exactly the same on the opposite side. So I'll take the pin out because I can't see it under there. All the way down the side. Avoiding the channel at the side there. Can see where that is, matching the seams here. And into the base. There we go. So that stitch remover is out of stock at the moment, but I think it's going to come back next week. So watch this space. Okay. Where did I leave the hole? It's there. So we'll turn this all the right side out. Just pull all of that through. And then I'll show you what the base looks like. So where I folded up the corners at the bottom, it looks like that. So it's just something a little bit different. It looks like you've actually taken the corner of the bag and then folded it and sewn it, but it isn't. That's all part of the process. So when I said about making the fold 1.5 inches, excluding the seam allowance, you've now got a base that's 3 inches. So if you wanted to make something even squarer, then make that fold even deeper. So that's that. I'll sew the hole up at a later date. Lining goes inside. I would sew around the top. Snip off those threads. I don't want that's untidy. And then you can either thread 1 or 2 ribbons. Personally, I prefer 2. So cut your ribbon to about 3 inches. That'll be 6 inches longer than the width or the width of your bag. And then thread 1 ribbon through that way and 1 ribbon through that way. And then when you pull both of them, it'll gather up. So you've got a little drawstring bag with a square base. I'd sew around the top as well to make it nice and neat. And that's something that you can use as storage, give as a gift. You can make a bottle bag with it if it was narrower and maybe a little bit longer, or that can just go around the neck of the bottle so the bottle sticks out a little bit. You could even put some of the insulated wadding in it to help keep it cool when you're on your way to your wine and crochet evening. Let's give you a reminder of our early bird. So there's a £3 saving on your early bird while we have the stock or for the rest of the day. So it's £10.96 is your price, and you've got 4.5 metres of fabric, 2 metres in total, 100% cotton, nice quality, ideal for mixing and matching and lining. So I could have used the turquoise or the navy to line my bag with. So if you want affordable fabric for areas that you don't see so much of, like a lining for instance, then this is ideal. They do come as 1/2 metre cuts though. So if you order 2 bundles, you won't get 1 metre lengths, you'll get 2 lots of 1/2 metre lengths for those while we have the stock. So great to mix and match and kind of dilute your stash a little bit, but without, there we go, without spending too much money. Tiger is back in stock. So this is the red. I like the way that it's not obvious that it's a tiger. You have to look for the tiger. And I love the flowers as well. It's a very tropical feeling, I think, with this one. That would make something nice for your holidays, wouldn't it? If we ever go away again. £5.99 is your price there. But this will come by the metre. If you wanted to order a metre, maybe you want to make a dress or a blouse or a shirt, just order 2 units and you'll get a metre length. Order 4 units and you'll have a 4 metre length. That's the red, this is the black. There you are. Really makes the colours pop, doesn't it, when you put black behind it? And then you've got the leaves, the tropical kind of design. Loads of colours to pick out if you were to do so with that as well. In fact, that turquoise again just goes with everything. So it seems. Great early bird. Good colours, not some random colour that you're never going to use. Good basic block colours. How are we doing that? Like that. So this is all Lewis and Irene fabric. Remember, do have a look on the website for what we have left. They're either £4.99 or £5.99 for 1/2 metre. And we have something for everybody. There's novelty, there's classic, there's the ticking. We've got glow in the dark. Excuse me. We've got wizards and stripes and Union Jacks with hearts and hummingbirds, and sewingstreet.com. Have a look there and have a look underneath the video, and that'll give you the details of all of the fabrics. Coming up in the next hour, Wendy Orlando has very kindly made a video to show how to make our doorstops, and we've got offers for you on these as well. And keep your suggestions coming in. What else would you like to see on Sewing Street? Now Jane says, how about a 1930s garage with wooden doors and ivy and flowers growing up a brick wall? I think that's a lovely idea. So we will have 1 or 2 every single month. I'm going to have a play with them as well. Not in this, I'm going to take one home because it was suggested, I don't know who suggested it, making one into a storage jar. So I'm going to have a go. I don't know if it's doable, but I'm going to certainly have a go. Right, we've got, oh gosh, okay, this is coming up in the next hour, but it's been really busy. So just really quickly, have a look on the website. You can either go for one or that one, or you can go for the two, and go for the two because you get a ridiculous saving on that, and you have been doing already. So if you wanted to go for the Florist and the Haberdashery together, there's everything you need to go with it. You're getting your toy filler and everything. I think there's even some Bonder web in there as well. There's everything that you need for £29.99. But that's coming up in the next hour, but you can order now. Okay, so we'll see you again in a couple of minutes with our houses. See you in a bit.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got two Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All three of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those three and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more. Together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Liz from Pinhole Quilting. Do you relate to any of these statements? I love to piece, but I don't enjoy the quilting. I've got so many UFOs, I don't know how I'm ever going to finish them. I'd really like to finish my own quilts. If you relate to those statements, then you need to watch our show on Sewing Street where we've got a special offer for you. We're going to show you how you can finish more of your own quilts. You can send in your questions, we'll answer them live on the show. We look forward to seeing you on Sewing Street soon.
Welcome back again to Sewing Street. Do you know, these doorstops have been so busy already from the previous hour. I think it's going to go a little bit crazy in this one, to be honest. We've got a couple of offers for you. This is the Florist and the Haberdashery shop, and I'll show you what you get in just a second. But we're going to be building one or two of these every week until we've got the whole Sewing Street. So we want to know what kind of shop you want to see. Dawn suggested a hairdresser's and a nail bar. Oh, you've got to have a hairdresser's, haven't you? What about a fishmonger's? Do you know what I'm thinking to? What I'm thinking back to? I used to have a Camberwick Green village when I was little, with all the little shops there, and it just reminds me of, we could have this shop and that shop and that. The fishmonger's had a roller door on it. Oh, and then I'm getting all carried away there. So we have at the moment the Florist and the Haberdashery. What's on your high street, or what would you like to see on your high street? We've got to have a sewing shop, haven't we? I suppose the Haberdashery, that's the Haberdashery, I suppose, isn't it, with the fabrics and yarns and everything. A wedding dress shop would be a nice one, wouldn't it? Or somebody that does photographs of children and stuff like that. Or we could have a gallery, we could have a museum. We could have a nightclub. Do you have a discotheque? Can't remember the last time I went to anywhere like that. Do they still exist? I suppose they do exist. not in my world. So this is £29.99 for both of them. And in your pack, we've got to have a pub, haven't we? We've got to have a pub. In your kit, you will have a packet of Bondaweb, because all of these panels you're going to sew them on, and this will help it. Certainly when you've got things like the bunting that are going around there, so that helps to stick them on. You'll have loads left over from that as well. You have some wadding. You will have a bag of toy filler, that's included, and then these are your panels. I love panels. I think they're such a good idea because you just cut things out and sew them back together like a jigsaw puzzle. So there's no measuring. Cut out all those little bits and bobs from the haberdashery and the windows and sew them on. You don't have to put them on in the same place as we have. You can put those wherever you like. So haberdashery shop's got a post box outside it. Got the little trees that you see. You could add embellishments. You could add a button on the door for a door handle. Maybe embroider with French knots over those little topiaries, aren't they? Is that what you call them? The trees in the pots. You could do the same in the window box. Maybe you've got some flower-shaped buttons you can use there instead. You could free motion embroider around some of the shapes, maybe on the roof or around the door and the windows. Add some extra fabric over the window to make the curtains. There's so much you can do with it to make it personal, make it a little bit fun to make up. So that is your haberdashery. You're getting this one as well, so you're getting both of them for £29.99. It is by far better than going for them individually. We'll go through that in a sec. So you've got the same deal. You've got the shop labels there, shop signs, one for the front and one for the back. This time we've got hanging baskets and flowers, and there's your bunting at the bottom. Look, I would suggest that you iron your bunting, or iron actually all of your. No, you can't. Can you? That's right in the middle. Iron the bunting onto your heat and bond, your Bondaweb, before you cut them out, because it'll be a nightmare to try and put Bondaweb on the back of each one of those pennants. So I'd cut that one out first. Let's have a look at the easiest way to do it. I'd cut that strip, iron that on, then I'd cut that strip and iron it on, and then I'd cut that strip and then cut out the Florist and iron all of those onto your Bondaweb. Wendy will probably take you through this in a second, before you cut them out. And then that means you can cut out quite intricate shapes without it all fraying. Because, I mean, you'd never be able to do that any other way, would you? That makes it a lot easier, I think, to do that. But see how you can. So little French knots or daisy. We've got some embroidery thread coming up in the next hour, actually. Maybe I'll have a play. Little lazy daisy stitches. You could embroider over here as well. Oh, there's a cat in the window. I never even noticed that before. And you've got your open sign on there. It's just so pretty. I love the colours as well. Loads of detail in this. Well done, Tom. And then here you've got your stitched with love by. So if you're going to give this as a gift, that could maybe go on the bottom or on the side. Well, go wherever you like it, or use those on another project. All of the panels have got their the labels on them, so you know exactly which one's which. And of course, you're going to get your full instructions in there as well. So £29.99 is for the both of them. For your floral, have we got any more ideas for what we're going to? Oh look, I've done it again. Your messages aren't coming up straight away. On community. No, hairdressers and nail bar was the last one. So we're going to try and bring, oh, Kerry's got a suggestion. A sweet shop or a news agent. Oh yes, you've got to have a news agent, haven't you? And a post office. I'll have a think about that. If you've got any ideas, put them on our Facebook page. If you go to the visitor posts or community, then we can read them out in the show as well. Whatever ideas you have, it'd be nice to hear what have you got on your high street. See, we don't have a high street. We could have a farm shop selling eggs and things like that. Of the butchers and the bakers and the candlestick makers. Oh yeah, gift shop. Have to have a gift shop or in a shoe shop. So both of those, £29.99. Make nice presents as well, wouldn't they? You can order as many as you like. It's not limited to one order per customer. So if you want to, we need something Christmassy as well, don't we? Because it's Christmas next month in the world of shopping telly. So we need something that sells Christmas presents with decorations outside. Or grotto, Santa's grotto would be nice. Oh, the clothes shop, got to have a clothes shop as well. If you wanted to order these on their own, the value honestly is if you go for the two pieces together. But if you did just want to go for one, we'll give you the details. So again, you do have the, there you go, that's the haberdashery. You're going to have the toy filler, you'll have your wadding, you'll have your bonder web, you'll have your instructions. I'll tell you what else you could put on your order, because it doesn't come with these. A bag of pellets. And something of this size, maybe half a bag in each one. Make it really weighty. But of course, they don't have to be doorstops. But you see what I mean? £19.99 for one. For an extra £10, you get another one. So that's like buy one, get one half price. So it's much better value if you want to, or if you buy one and give one away, or if there's two of you making them, split the cost, because then that brings your price down to £15 each instead of £19.99 each, doesn't it? So that's the haberdashery if you did want to go for it on its own at £19.99. Same price for the Florist. Again, £19.99. So all of these are applique pieces, remember, you sew those on. You hand sew the roof on. Oh, Wendy's going to do all this in a minute. But that kind of, and then the reason for that is so that you have eaves, because if that was just part of the whole doorstop, then you'd have a seam around there and it wouldn't have quite so much character. So that's a nice idea. And this one with the dove cut in there, doesn't it? Right, again, that's £19.99. Now remember, you can order on the phone lines on 0800 001 4433, or you can order on the website on sewingstreet.com. And if there's anything extra you need, if you want to really plump these up really fat, then you may want to go for some extra toy filler. I think there's 250 grams in there. Yep, approximately. They might need just a little bit more, but you can never have enough of that anyway. So I've been saying that Wendy's filmed a demonstration on how to make these, so put your feet up and enjoy Wendy's video.
Today we're going to be making these adorable doorstops. You have the choice between the Haberdashery and the Florist, and it is really hard to choose between the two designs. But for today we're going to be making the Florist. They start off life as a panel, and the first thing we need to do is cut out all the pieces that we need. I have mentioned before that the preparation of the project is really important. The more accurate that you can be at the cutting out stage, the neater your overall design is going to be when you come to sewing. You can see that the panel has all the pieces that it needs, and the first thing that we need to do is cut out the key pieces, so the roofs, the side, the front and the back and the base. For the moment we're not going to be cutting out any of the applique designs, we're just going to be cutting out the larger pieces. Taking a sharp pair of scissors, cut around the edge of the individual pieces, making sure that you go as close to the design as you can. And we do that for all the pieces on the panel. We've now cut out all the key pieces, and I'm just going to show you on a small section of the applique designs what we need to do with those. We're going to be using Bondaweb, and this is available on the website. Bondaweb is great for sticking your design down before you actually sew it. Lay your design over, and then we're going to just use an iron and press it. It's a good idea to not have any of the Bondaweb showing underneath, because if your iron touches it, it's going to stick to it. So I'm just moving it slightly to one side, and then I'm going to press. And I'm just at the moment lightly pressing just so it starts to stick. And then when I've done that, I'm just going to cut away the excess. As I say, if you do iron onto this, then it's going to stick to your iron. The instructions are on the pack, but you will see that one side looks a bit like greaseproof paper, and the other side has got a bit of a shine to it. And if you look really carefully, you can see that it is glue. It's not sticky at all, but you can just see that it looks like glue. And that's the side you want to put the wrong side of your fabric onto, because as you iron, then it's going to stick to this. As I've cut away the pieces behind, I can now go ahead and be a little bit more firm with the iron so that I know that it's not going to stick to any of the paper behind. At this moment in time, this is not at all sticky, and it just feels like paper, and it's that we pull back to reveal the glue underneath. What you want to do is leave this to cool. It will come off much easier if it's cold. So I'm just going to show you the ones that I actually have already done. And I have cut these ones out. There are a couple of ways you can cut round them. You will see here that I have left some of the cream fabric showing. If you want to cut right up to the edge, then you can, but if you just leave a little bit showing, then if you use a cream cotton, a contrasting cotton, it's not going to show. Of course, if you want all the stitches, the decorative stitches to show, then you can choose any colour cotton you want if you want it to be seen. So you'll see on here I've cut them and just left a little bit of the cream. This is a wonderful design, and you will see actually on the doorstop itself that the backing is the same colour as the wall, so it kind of blends in. And by cutting a little bit away from the picture itself, you won't really see any stitches on there. Of course, if you want to free motion and go wild with stitches and maybe do green on the leaves and then brown for the pot, it's entirely up to you. But for this doorstop, I simply did a zigzag stitch around all of the the applique. For this one, I cut quite a little bit more around each of the shapes, and then I just did a straight stitch. This one is much quicker, and for those of you who are a little bit unsure about using the zigzag stitch, then this is perfect. The only thing you do need to be mindful if you do this method is if the doorstop is handled a lot, then it may fray slightly. You can see it's just starting to fray there, but I really like that look. So it depends what look you're after. But for today, I'm going to be showing you how to do the zigzag method. Now we've got all our pieces cut out, we're going to create our florist. And this is where you can let your imagination go wild. If you lay them roughly, how they're going to go, so we're going to have a front or a back next to a wall, next to a front or a back next to a wall. And by laying them out in this order, as you put the designs down, you can see when it's created, especially in the case of the florist, you can see what's going to be peeping around the corner. And with haberdashery, I wanted the post box to be by the front, whereas if I'd have placed this on the other side, then the post box would have been at the back. I laid them all out, then I could see what they would look like when they turned round the corner. I'm going to start with the front of the shop. And this is, again, purely personal how you want to do it. You could have the door on the side and you can have the window on the front. I kind of like having the door next to the front window because I think when you go to look at a shop, you'll see the door and then you'll see what they're selling inside. What I'm doing here is I'm just positioning where I think I want them to be. And you have to take into consideration that you're going to have the seam down here and down the bottom. So don't put them too close to the edges or actually too close to the base. Because again, if I show you the florist here, I've come quite away from the bottom, but by the time that it's stuffed, you lose the bit of effect of the bottom of the door. So just bring them up slightly. And then you can just add anything. I'm going to put the florist at the top because people need to know what the shop is. And then I'm going to put, I think, a window down the side and maybe a window down the other side. And these here can either be at the bottom or you can have them a little way up to be wallflowers. Let's have a couple of hanging baskets on there. And then maybe on the back, let's have them, knowing that it's the florist. Well, let's go wild with the flowers at the back here. And then I'm going to put the clock on the front, I think. And now that I've laid them all out, I'm able to see what it's going to look like when it's put together actually as the florist. The next thing to do is attach these ready for sewing. This Bonder web is fantastic because it peels off really easy. I've used ones in the past that I've really struggled to get the backing paper off, but these ones come off really easy. If you do find you are struggling to get them, if you just score with a pin at the back very carefully, because you don't want to press too hard because you don't want to ruin the design on the front, but you'll find then that you'll be able to peel it back and it will come off. We do have some bunting, but we're going to add that on afterwards. And again, I'm being mindful of the fact that I am going to lose some of the design in the seam. So I'm very happy with that. And once you are happy, you get your iron and you just lay it down and press it down on top. Don't be tempted to move it around because you've got them in the position you want them to be. Lay the iron down and press. You can now see that they've stuck, and they've also made the fabric slightly more rigid because you've now got 2 layers of fabric and the bonder web. If you wanted to, you could just now assemble the Florist, but I think it looks really, really nice if you can do some form of decorative stitching, and it will also mean that they last so much longer because it will secure these pictures. Carry on doing the rest of the doorstop, and then we can start adding the bunting. We're now going to add the bunting to the doorstops, and I have only added it on the 3 sides. I've made my fronts rather busy, and I think that by adding bunting on there as well, it's just going to be too much for it. The reason I said to leave the bunting until afterwards is because I think it's much easier to put it all on as the panel and then cut them out as you need them. I've done a couple of the doorstops and I found this the easiest way. You can put as many of the buntings, you can have them close together or you can have them wider apart. The choice is yours. We're not going to do the front because, as I say, I have made mine rather busy. So we're just going to do the 3 back pieces. And I do have a little tip to make the bunting look really neat. I'm using a water erasable pen, but you can use an air erasable. I love those for projects like this because it means that I don't actually have to do anything. I can just leave it, and then when I come to it the next day, it's disappeared. We're going to do the bunting now, and you'll see that I've measured 1/4 of an inch in. This is where my seam is going to be. I'm going to start my garland from that seam, and I would do the same the other side. So I'm going to keep it as straight as I can. Garlands aren't supposed to be straight, but I just want to keep it straight while I'm designing it. I'm going to measure in 1/4 of an inch from this side. So I now want my garland to go from here to here. I draw it. It doesn't matter at this stage if you go wrong because this is water erasable, so you would just dampen it and start again. We're then going to do the side. We line the 2 pieces up and then we place a straight line or a ruler. And you can see I'm just continuing that line across along the side. So I come in 1/4 of an inch here, and then I mark 1/4 of an inch there. And I'm going to draw the second swag of the bunting. And what will happen when I sew the seam along this side, and I place these 2 sides together and sew that 1/4 of an inch seam, if we've got it as accurate as we can, then the bunting is going to look like it's going in a continual line, and it just makes it look much, much neater and more professional. We do the same for the other side. We're now going to add the bunting, and this can be done in a couple of ways. You can either cut it out and leave the extra allowance around the outside, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bunting out exactly. If you leave some material around the outside, then you can do a zigzag or a straight stitch. But because it is such a small piece of material, I'm simply going to be stitching along the bunting rope, and that's going to hold the top of my buntings in. Cut out the triangles and remove the backing. These are smaller pieces, so they are a little bit more difficult for the backing to come off. And place them along your garland. The bunting has now been added, and as it was a little bit low on this window, I haven't quite stuck all of it down at the moment because I want to go around this window first and then I want the bunting to be stuck down over the top. We've now finished adding all the detail and now we're going to secure them with some stitching. We're now going to add the decorative stitching around the edge of the applique shapes. I'm going to be doing a zigzag stitching. It doesn't really matter where you start around the shape. I'm going to start at the bottom. And I know in this foot that I have a little triangle that I can follow so that I know that that's the centre of my stitch. It is a good idea to get used to your different feet and what they do. And I've used some old fabric and I've had a play around with stitch lengths and stitch widths until I've got one that I'm happy with. And because these shapes are quite small, it's a good idea to go with a smaller zigzag. I'm starting to sew, and all the time I'm going along a straight edge, I can just let the machine do the work. But I'm coming up to a corner now. I'm going to select the needle down position in my machine. A lot of machines do have them, and if you can use that function, it's really good because every time you stop, then the needle goes down. I'm getting to the corner, and I'm not sure if any of you have ever had where you've been working a zigzag stitch and every so often you'll have a stray little stitch that's just gone offline and it looks like it doesn't belong there. And the reason is that if you don't leave the needle in the position before you the right position before you turn, as you start sewing, if you were going to go on a stitch that went to the right, it will hop outside of your line. So I know that my zigzag stitch goes right to left, right to left, right to left. So if I leave it on the right hand side, release the foot and turn around and start again, I now know that my stitch is going to go to the left. If I'd left it in the left position and then turned, then the stitch would have jumped to the right first, and that's how you stop the little stray stitches on the zigzag. So I'm going to keep going down. I'm now coming to a curve and it's in the left position, so I want it to be in the right before I turn. I know that if I press my machine footer once, it's just going to do one stitch for me. So I lift it up, it's now on the right, I turn it round, and I now know that it's going to jump to the left and not jump out of line. So I keep going round, and that's a handy little tip. A lot of people don't like doing zigzags because it can look messy in places. I'm just teasing it around the corner. If you are unsure of working round curves, just leave it in the right hand side position, lift your foot and turn it. And we're looking to be continuing in a straight line, which does sound really silly if we're going round a curve, but we want this line, the sewing line, to be going straight. So I've just turned it so it's straight, and I keep going. Leave the needle in the right hand side position, lift up, and then I need to create that straight line again. And that's how you work a zigzag around the outside of shapes. We're just going to finish this one off. So again, we're coming to a corner and we leave the needle in the right position, turn, and now I know it's going to go to the left and it's not going to stray off the edge of the shape. In a moment we're going to be turning it on the right side and we're going to be pulling the cotton back through to tie. So it's a good idea just to go a little bit further than the first stitches, and that way if when you pull the cotton through you undo a couple of stitches, you're not going to be left with a gap. We needle up, foot up to release the tension, and then you can pull out and cut off your cut yarn. And we've gone all the way round the outside of the shape and we haven't got any stray little stitches going around the edge. We turn it over, and then where we have got the cotton we just pull it, and then we pull that front cotton to the back, and we do that on both strands, and then we tie them off, and then we won't have any stray bit of cotton at the front. So we now carry on going around all of the shapes, and then we can get ready to start assembling the doorstop. We've sewn around all our applique shapes, and the last thing to do before we get to the machine to sew them together is sew the bunting rope. I've changed the cotton on my machine to a dark colour, but you can do this any colour you like, and we're simply going to be following the line with a zigzag stitch to create the rope effect. You can use any decorative stitch you want for the bunting rope. I'm just going to keep the machine setting as it is and use the zigzag stitch, but I have changed the cotton to black. Make sure that you sew over the top of these bunting flags. As we're not sewing around the edges here, if they do lift slightly, they will be secure at the top. You can, of course, however, if you want to, sew a zigzag stitch around the bunting. Just turning the panel as I go. Because there's not too much of a curve, it's allowing me to do that. And I'm going to sew all the way up to the top of that stitch. We've now created our rope effect on our bunting, and I'm just going to do the same for the other two panels. It is worth mentioning that if you do have a piece of the picture that's behind something else, make sure you go around that first before you add the extra layer on. It may be a window box. You've decided to put a window box over the bottom of the window, so sew the window on first and then go around the window box, add it on and go around it after. Although it is quicker to use the machine to sew on all these shapes, this is a wonderful project if you want to hand sew them on. It's a perfect project for on the go as it doesn't take up very much space. As we are creating a cube, we're going to be putting a base, and in this case, as it is a little house or a florist, we're going to be putting a roof onto it. So instead of sewing all the way down, we're going to be sewing 1/4 inch from the edge. That way we can put the panel at the bottom in really easy, and again the panels at the top. So I'll show you how to do those. I do have a little trick that I'm going to just show you by using the machine. As I mentioned, we will be using 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we need to start 1/4 inch from the edge. To make sure that we get it as accurate as we can, take the foot that you are using and just get an old piece of material and fold it in half. Then what you do is you sew down one side, and you sew as though you're going to be doing the stitch that you would to put the stop together. And I'm going to sew my seam. I've sewn my seam down here, and I'm going to sew one of the other side, so it's going to create a right angle. We've sewn our seam to create a right angle, and this is the area that we're interested in. We're now going to cut out this corner that we have created. Cut down this side and this side. A little bit past the line, just only a fraction, because this will allow for the thickness of our pen. This is a little tip when you need to mark 1/4 inch in from the ends of your fabric. If you don't have 1/4 inch foot and you use this method, you know that this is going to be quite accurate. Place this on the corner of one of the panels. We're just going to put a little mark on that right angle, and then we do the same on the rest of the 3 corners, just turning it each time. And all I'm doing is lining up that edge, and then when I place my pen mark, I know that that's going to be 1/4 inch in. I've done it for all 4 of my corners, and I'm going to be sewing my seam from this mark to this mark. We're going to be sewing from one point to the other, and we're going to be leaving this area at each end with no stitching, and that will allow us to insert our base and our rooftop, and we'll be going to get really neat corners. We do that for all 4 pieces. It just takes out the guesswork. And as I've mentioned, if your machine foot isn't quite 1/4 inch, at least you know that this is going to be that measurement. And for the roof, we will imagine there's an imaginary line from one end to the other. We place it along that imaginary line and draw. And the same in there. Place them in the order that they're going to be put together. So we need a side, back, side, front. Take one of the sides, and in this case it's going to be the back, and place them right sides together. We're then going to be sewing down here to create a seam in between these 2 marks. You can pin or clip them if you prefer, but I'm just going to go straight ahead and sew. I'm going to have my material lined up with the edge of my foot because I know that's where my 1/4 inch is. Line up the edge of the foot with your fabric and insert your needle onto that mark. Sew down to the mark at this end. Reverse stitch at the beginning and end will hold the stitches in place and stop the seams coming undone. It's a good idea to get used to doing a reverse stitch at the front and back because we're going to be putting pressure when we insert the base and the roof. By doing a reverse stitch, it will protect these end stitches. So all the way down the edge and stop when you get to the mark and do a reverse stitch. You can see that we've sewn from one mark to the other and done a reverse stitch at each end, and that will just stop these stitches coming undone. Before we add the next panels, I just want to show you how the bunting has lined up with a little trick we did when we marked 1/4 inch in to replicate the seam. Next thing to do is add the side in the same way as we have. So I'm going to then add the side, and then I'm going to add the front. All 4 panels have now been sewn together. The final step is to sew the last 2 sides, right sides together to create our doorstop shape. We've now created our doorstop shape, and we're going to be adding the base. This is the right side of the base. Turn it over onto the wrong side and mark the 4 corners as we did with the sides. Again, we're going to be starting our stitching from the seam allowance in, so in our case the 1/4 inch. And we're going to be sewing right sides together. So the right sides are on the inside of the doorstop at the moment. We're going to be leaving an opening at the back of the doorstop for stuffing. We start there. This is my back. And we lay one of the sides. It's a square, so they'll all be the same length. And what we're looking for is to place it up against the width of the base. You can see I've now laid it across the width of the base, and again, if you want to pin or clip, then please do so. If you're going to weight your doorstop, these pellets are absolutely ideal, but you do need to take into consideration the stuffing you're going to use because it will depend how big you're going to leave the hole for stuffing. I'm going to leave a fairly wide hole for my stuffing. Normally we would start from the dot, but this time I'm going to start just a little way in on this side because the corners are slightly different on the base, and I will work on that last corner when I come to it. I'm going to have a fairly wide gap because I'm going to fill mine with pellets. Making sure that the sides line up, we're going to start sewing. We're not going to be sewing from the dot, we're just going to sew a little bit in from there. And then I'm going to sew down to the line. So it's not very big for this side. I'm going to sew down using the reverse stitch till I get to this mark here. And then I'm going to reverse stitch again to secure. As this is the entry point for our pellets, we want to make sure that this is really secure. Starting from the next mark, we're going to sew down, and this time we are going to stop at the dot. Work a reverse stitch. Again, this is purely to secure the stitches. And take out the doorstop. We've sewn down this side with the seam allowance at the end, and that seam allowance is now going to be used to start from the next edge. Tidy the corner up by pressing that in and folding it down to make it really neat, and we're just going to sew from here to here. We've now got our little sandwich in the corner, and we're going to sew the corner closed. It doesn't matter now if you actually go down onto that mark, you can go a little bit behind it, and that will ensure that you don't have any gaps in the corner. But we do stop when we get to this little dot at the end. Reverse stitch and sew all the way down the side. What you do need to be careful of is this fabric inside is well out of the way before you sew. Remember, we're going to stop at the mark and reverse to secure the stitches. And we're going to do exactly the same as we did with the first side. We have the allowance left over that's going to allow us to place the fabric along that third side. Remember to tuck the corner in to form a neat corner, and then we're going to sew down that side as we did with the other two. We're now going to do the final side. And just before you get to the corner, fold it in and sew to the end. First stitch to strengthen the corner, and then you're going to just have a tiny bit to sew just to finish the base. And finish with a reverse stitch. The base is now finished, and you can see by just working in from the edge, that 1/4 of an inch, that we are able to insert the base, and it's really neat. And when we turn it in the other way, you can see the corners are really, really sharp. We're going to leave it to one side for the moment, and we're going to start constructing the roof. We're now going to construct the inner roof, and at the same time we're going to be adding the handle. You can see on the Florist that we have long handle, and this is the size that is supplied in the kit. But for the haberdashery, I simply chopped it in half and I made a much smaller handle. And this is where these are great, because the choice is yours and you can put whatever size handle on you want, or you don't have to put one on at all. But I just think they're really, really nice because you can just pick them up and place them where you want them. However, if you are creating a little village with the doorstops, then if you leave the handle off, they just look like little houses. And you will notice that as I just drop them down, you can hear that they are very, very slightly weighted. Personally, I didn't want to put a lot of weight in them, but if you do actually want them to hold a door back, then you'll need to put quite a bit of weight in there so that they do hold the door. This is the fabric that we use for the handle. For the haberdashery, it is blue, and for the florist, it is pink. Take the fabric and fold it together with the wrong sides facing and iron. Once you've ironed them together, open them out and then fold the side into the centre and iron. Do exactly the same for the other side. And then fold the two together. This is now the time that you do have a little bit of wiggle room to make them level and even, because we're going to be sewing a top stitch along both of the long edges. When working a top stitch, it's a good idea to increase the stitch length, especially as we're working with a lot of layers of fabric together. A longer stitch length will allow the fabric to feed through much easier. I'm just going to now change the position of where I'm looking on the foot, because I want to have the top stitching quite close to the edge. I've sewn down one side with my top stitching, and now I'm going to sew down this side. The handle is now complete and top stitching has been worked on both sides. We're going to make the inner roof, and I've marked in already the 1/4 inch seam allowance on each of the 4 corners of the 2 panels, right sides facing up. Then for this particular one, I'm going to make a shorter handle. So I've marked the centre, I've just folded it in half and marked a crease in the centre and laid my handle down. And then I'm going to put the right side of the second panel on the top. So I've actually encased the handle on the inside, so that when we fold them back, when we've sewn, the handle is going to be peeping through those right sides. We're going to be sewing from one mark to the other, and as we go over that centre, we're going to be careful because there's going to be quite a lot of layers of fabric. I'm going to be doing a reverse stitch in the middle just to make it a little bit stronger. So now we've encased the handle inside the 2 inner roofs. Give it a little press. And it's now ready to add to the doorstop. The inner roof is added exactly the same way as we did with the base. It just seems a little bit more confusing because we now have the points of the front and the back panels of the shop. We'll just take it nice and slowly. If your pen mark didn't come through to the other side, you may just need to remark them so that you can see where those 1/4 inch seam allowances are. We're now going to put the right sides facing together. So the right side is the inside of the doorstop, and we have our right side which has the little handle peeping through. Remember, it's exactly the same principle as for the base. So you line one side up, and this time we don't have to worry about closing because we've got the hole at the bottom of the base for stuffing. So we're going to be sewing from the mark here up to the top. But remember, we just need to tuck that corner in and out of the way to make it really neat. We've sewn up this side of the roof, so now we're going to be sewing down the other. Place this side down, and then we can tuck the corner in and sew between the two blue lines. We'll sew down here until we get to the blue mark. You sew up one side of the roof and down the other as we just have, and then we're back to the beginning. We've now sewn around all the top of the roof, and we're just left with that little opening from at the beginning. Fold the corner and sew down to close. We've now completed the main structure of the doorstop. All we need to do is add the roof. If you want to, you can just trim all these ends off and tidy it up inside. And once you've done that, turn it inside out, carefully teasing it through the opening. That's the basic doorstop made. We're now going to add the roof. We're now going to be turning this into this using stuffing and roof panels. The roof panels are created with fabric and craft wadding, and this is the one that I'm going to be using, and you will be able to find it on the website. The roof panels are created using 2 pieces of fabric and a piece of wadding for each panel, and we create a sandwich as follows. Lay down a piece of wadding and then lay one of the panels right side facing up. You need to be careful what way the tiles are going. If you don't get them the same way, then one's going to be upside down. So make sure that the tiles are going the same way, and then you flip over and put the second one right side down. So we have our wadding, our first piece of fabric is right side up, and our second piece of fabric is right side down. We're then going to sew a seam around the outside, but we're going to leave an opening for turning. Don't leave it too small, otherwise you won't be able to turn it the right side out because it's going to be quite thick because we'll have that wadding. And then just sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way round, starting from one mark all the way round until you get to the other. We've gone all the way around the outside of our roof panel. We're going to cut the excess wadding The panel is going to be turned the right side out now, but before we do that, we're going to take a little bit of the excess fabric from the corners. It just means that you get a sharper corner when you turn the right side out. Take care that you don't cut into any of those corner stitches. Once you've cut away the corners, insert your finger and push out with your thumb, pushing out all the corners. Once you've pushed it the right side out, just give it a little press. On the side that's got the opening, just fold the edges in, making sure that they're even, and give a press. Make the next roof in exactly the same way, and I like to sew a top stitch around the edge of the roof. It gives a little bit of decoration, but it also closes that edge, so then I don't have to over sew it closed. But if you prefer, you can just over sew that and then just leave the roofs as they are. So you need to make the second one in exactly the same way. We've now finished all the machine sewing. So all that's left to do is to stuff it and add on the roof. Now I'm using this filling that you can find on the website, and this is fantastic because it's so soft and it's really easy to pull apart and stuff so that you don't actually have any lumps in the doorstop. You can hear that this one is slightly weighted, and if you want to do that, just before you close it up, then you can add some pellets. Now I would recommend that you make a little sack, using some scrap material or some netting or something, so that you just make a little bag to fill it in and sew it closed. And that way it's not going to, if you do get a hole or it does appear into the doorstop, it's not going to fall out and be any danger to anyone. So if you encase the pellets in a bag first, then it's going to be much safer. So you're going to stuff it with the stuffing most of the way before you add the pellets in the bottom. And this is where you needed to be mindful of how wide you left your gap, because you've got to be able to fit a little bag of pellets in there. So that's what we're going to do next. You find your opening and you stuff it from the roof first. I'm going to open my filling. And you can see this is really soft and it's really easy to pull apart. A lot of filling that you get is quite hard and chunky, and it is worth teasing it apart first because that's what stops it getting lumpy. Then just feed it into the doorstop. And you may see my tongue coming out here because when I concentrate I always stick my tongue out. But we're going to pop it in. And you take it right down to the roof first. Want to push it into all the corners, and then you keep stuffing and stuffing and stuffing. And this again is a personal preference. You can have it really firm or you can have it soft. It depends what you're going to use it for. If you are going to use it for a doorstop, as I say, it is a good idea to make a little bag and put some pellets in there before you close it. So I'll carry on and then I'll see you when I'm nearly at the end. We've now stuffed the house and I have left the opening just in case I decide to put some pellets in, but at the moment I think I'm just going to have this one as a soft doorstop. And then all we need to do now is add the roof. You've got your two pieces and they simply fit over where the handle is. Once you've got them into position and you're happy, and this is where you decide if you want to have more at the front and less at the back, or you actually want it to be in the middle. And then you over sew up to the handle, and then you over sew back up to the front, and then the roof is actually secure. If you want to, you can actually sew through the handle and the roof just to make sure that it doesn't come off, but we will be sewing the roof down afterwards. I know I said that we had finished with machine sewing, but actually I decided to machine sew this one. So I marked where the handle was and left a hole. So I took the two pieces over to the machine and I sewed up to here and left a hole and then sewed to the end, and then I popped the roof over the handle and just laid it down, and I think that looks quite nice actually, and it saves hand sewing, but that's purely down to if you want to hand sew it, that's fine. If you want to machine, that's also okay. And the last thing that you have to do is you have to hand sew the roof actually secure to the little shop, and to do that just over sew under, pull this back and sew, and keep pulling it back and sew all the way around, and you go all the way around the roof, and then that stops the roof from moving and it hides the inner roof as well, and it just neatens the whole shop off, and it looks so cute. And here's my other one. Once you've sewn the roof, all you need to do is sew the opening closed, and then your doorstop is finished. So which one's your favourite? I really can't decide. I love them both. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you, Wendy. I hope you enjoyed the video at home. Let me give you a reminder of what you're getting with the twin pack, with the duo pack, because it's the Florist and the Haberdashery. This is the most affordable way to buy these. Don't go for them individually because you'll be paying in effect half as much again. So everything that you need apart from your pellets for £29.99. That's including full colour instructions, so those are the instructions that you're going to get. There's of course the panel, I'll show you those in a second. Your toy filler is included. There's some polyester wadding which you can use in the roof and maybe quilt over it. That would look really nice, and you're going to have loads left over of that as well. And they're really simple to make, but they're loads of fun as well. We've been asking you to put on Facebook or let us know what kind of shops you'd like to see, and Carol says a wool shop. Watch this space. Pam says, morning Debbie, you'll need a bank to get all the money out to spend in all of these shops. I think a bank is a good idea. Then we've had an email, was it Joyce? And Joyce has come up with a whole load of suggestions. A chemist, apothecary, a jewellery shop, a cake shop, hardware shop. Hardware shop's a nice one, kind of nice and traditional old-fashioned high street shops, isn't it? So if you've got, bookshop, library, if you're a church, if you've got any ideas like that, then put them on our Facebook page because we will be bringing you more. We're running a poll as well, so you can vote. You can vote for your favourite type of shop. I think a greengrocer would be a nice one to have as well, personally. And it's got to have a post office, haven't you? And a pub. Or a cafe, an old-fashioned tea shop. Interior shop, designer shop. So if you've got any ideas, put them on Facebook. Let me show you the panels as they come to you as well, because these are so simple to make, as you saw with Wendy. There's no measuring and patterns and paper patterns or anything like that to cut out. It is this. So you simply cut out the pieces and sew them back together. And it's quite fun as well because you can put those applique pieces anywhere you like. You've got windows and doors. You can embroider over the flowers, which I might have a go at shortly. And you could quilt over the roof tiles. You've got the two signs. That's the dark ones there are the inside of the roof. So as you saw with Wendy, that's the bit that you don't see underneath the tiles. And then you've got bunting across the bottom. Oh, your bonder web's included as well. I wouldn't attempt to put bunting on in any other way, to be honest. Tiny pieces like that. So both of those for £29.99. So we're going to do a little bit of embroidery in the next bit, because I was thinking French knots on the flowers would be quite nice to give it a little bit of texture. And I'd maybe put a button on the door handles. And, you know, just dress it up a little bit. Maybe make a little bird sitting on the roof or something like that. You could free motion embroider, couldn't you? Some ivy growing up there. Loads that you can do. Maybe around the door and around the window would be nice. Pop some pellets on your order though. I would reckon about half a bag in each one of those would make a really good weighty doorstop. If it's not going to be a doorstop, if it's just an ornament, maybe a quarter of the bag, just to give it a little bit of weight, because otherwise you've just got a soft toy really, haven't you? These are only £5.99 and they are recycled polythene pellets. Really affordable as well, and much better in the long run than using rice or sand or anything like that, or a few pebbles or whatever else you would normally use to weight your doorstop. So these on their own at £5.99. You will need some kind of weight if it's a doorstop, because otherwise it's not going to hold your door open, is it? But maybe it's just going to be big pattern weights. Maybe you're making small pattern weights. These are great to put inside, maybe little pyramid-shaped pattern weights or the strawberry-shaped ones that you see. Be able to get loads of pattern weights out of that one. So 1 kilogram altogether for your £5.99. No extra postage. So if you've already ordered your doorstops, and you want to come back and think, actually I should have had those pellets, we're not going to charge you £3.95 all over again if you pop them on your order, or if you reorder them. Once you place one order with us, and that could be for anything, it could be anything from a sewing machine to some embroidery thread or a book or anything off the website, that's it for your postage for the whole day, all the way through to midnight tonight. So if you're still up at 11:30 you think, oh, I should have ordered this, I forgot to order that, then order it and you won't pay any more postage. If you come back tomorrow, we'll charge you. But if you do it today, we won't. We have, oh, here we go. We had a request to see this because this is the little ironing pad that Wendy was using. Lovely fabric on this one, but it's not just about ironing. It's about cutting, and it's about keeping your applique pieces in place as well. So here you've got your cutting mat in inches, and we've got centimetres as well, which is really useful. And on this side, you can hold things on here. It feels like sandpaper. Oh, that's not nice. Don't scratch it. It's like nails on blackboards. But it feels like sandpaper. It's quite rough, but that means it's grippy. So if you're arranging applique pieces, or if you're arranging patchwork blocks, you can pop them on there and then cover it over, fold it away, and they're not going to drop out. But this is useful, I think, just to have next to your sewing machine, with maybe a prim little mini eye in there, and to press seams open as you go. So if you don't want to walk to the other end of the house or wherever your ironing board is, have this right next to you, and just for little things, it's quite easy to use there. It's only £14.99. I love the colour, don't you? Like a sky blue with white spots on. So it's very modern. It's very trendy. An on-trend ironing mat. So an ironing and cutting multi-mat for £14.99. It's great value. I've got a similar one at home, which I was actually given, and I didn't like the cover on it. It was really old-fashioned, so I recovered it. But I really like this one. It looks very, very modern, I think. So again, no extra postage if you pop that on your order. Okay, we're going to have a quick break. We're going to do a little bit of embroidery in the next hour. We've got a brand new felting kit for you, and a brand new felting book for you. In the break, why don't you send us a message on Facebook with your ideas for what you'd like to see on our Sewing Street? What kind of shop, what kind of cafe, what would you like to see on it? Or you can vote on the poll on our Facebook page. So I'll leave you to do that, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part, and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw, and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liz from Pinhole Quilting. Do you relate to any of these statements? I love to piece, but I don't enjoy the quilting. I've got so many UFOs, I don't know how I'm ever going to finish them. I'd really like to finish my own quilts. If you relate to those statements, then you need to watch our show on Sewing Street, where we've got a special offer for you. We're going to show you how you can finish more of your own quilts. You can send in your questions, we'll answer them live on the show. We look forward to seeing you on Sewing Street soon.
Hi there, welcome back. You're watching Sewing Street. We're live this morning all the way through to 11 o'clock, so we've got about 40 minutes on this show, but we have got some new things to show you. Like for instance, our needle felting book. This is brand new for you today. Have you ever tried needle felting? Haven't done it for a while. It's one of those things, a bit like English paper piecing, where once I start, I can't stop and everything gets felted. But it's really therapeutic, it's very calming, it's very productive, and it's actually very easy. We brought this to you, or needle felting to you, for the first time last week on Sewing Street, and it's been really popular, so we're going to grow it as well. On the 11th, that was with Delphine Brooks, so if you wanted to take a look back through our YouTube channel. But this is a brand new book that we've never seen before. So with Delphine, she does like 2-dimensional needle felting and pictures and things like that. This is 3-dimensional needle felting. This is what I like doing, because you can create and mould so many different things. And please don't look at all of these and just think, no, I couldn't do that. I'm not an artist. I'm not a sculptor. I wouldn't be able to do it. It's actually a lot easier than you think. Now, you are using very sharp needles, so I'll take you through the tools that you're going to need as well. But very little amounts of rowing yarn that you're going to use. So look at him or her. The strawberries. So no sewing thread involved, no sewing machines involved. Minimal amount of yarn that's used as well, and like I said, it's a really therapeutic way of crafting. These are pretty, aren't they? I love the eggs. Oh, they're egg size. Funny that. Oh look, leaf garlands. There's so many ideas in it. I like the animals. I did make, we were talking about my English Bull Terrier earlier on, I did actually felt a little model of my English Bull Terrier, which I've still got somewhere. But characters, look. Little finger puppets, what a lovely idea. Oh. There's some fabulous ideas in here. So is it going to be a new skill? Do you fancy doing something that's not sewing, yarn related, but not fabric related? Oh, that's a nice idea. So that's on a polystyrene ball. So that's going to cut down even more on the amount of yarn that you're using. That's lovely. You could make brooches out of those, couldn't you? Christmas decoration. Oh, the snowman. And a bee. Gorgeous. Oh, the butterflies. They're so pretty. I want to make all of them. Oh, look, I love the animals, and they've got so much character. What she used for the eyes. Shiny black beads. So I think they'd just be glued in afterwards. Little bobtail look. Oh, and there's the bee. And sugar cubes. So it'll give you an idea of the kind of things that are available, the kind of things that are achievable to make. And of course, all of your instructions, lots of pictures showing you how to make them as well. Oh, have a go. I think you'll find it really calming. And it's one of those things that, because you don't need any kind of machinery or scissors or anything like that, because you don't cut the yarn, you tear it. The only sharp thing is your needle, and they are very sharp. But maybe this is going to be a sitting in the garden project, a lazing around on the beach project. If you're a passenger in the car, you've got a long journey, or if you're on a train, or some planes, I'm not getting involved in that. Do check with your airline company, even if you're allowed to go. Oh, here we go. Even if you're allowed to go, if you've got a long journey, is where I was going around the trees and houses. That's a clever idea as well. It doesn't take very many tools to, you can easily do this on your knee. And she's just used moulds. I've not seen that before, using a mould. It's a really clever idea. I do love the eggs though. It's amazing. Oh, I like the toadstools. Beautiful. So we've got £10.99 really. £10.99 for this. Surely it's more than £10.99. Oh, I can't see the recommended retail price, but that's a rather large book for £10.99. 20 projects for you to felt, and of course all of the details as to what you need tool-wise to get going there as well. Brand new for you today, so you haven't seen that before. Do you needle felt already? Send us some pictures. I'd love to see what you're doing. We do have a starter kit for you if you haven't done this before. So we don't have any of the yarn, so you'll have to source that. But we do have the felting block. This is a nice big one as well, because when you're felting, those needles are very sharp, so you don't want to poke them into your tabletop, and you don't want to poke them into your hand. You want to poke them into some foam. So you've got a really good solid block. Some felting blocks are really quite small, which is fine, but you've got a nice size on this one as well. It's about 7 inches square, I should say. Included in this set also are 2 of your needles. So this one's got 3 needles in it, but you can take them out and use less if you wanted to. And then the fine one has only got 1 needle in it. So that's going to be great for putting in details like the veins in the leaves, or the nose and the mouth on the little fox or the polar bears. Basically, the more needles you've got, the more area you can felt at the same time. If you haven't seen anything like these before, the needles aren't needles as in they've got an eye and you put thread through them. It's like a spike which is barbed. So there's cuts that are right on the end of the needle, which it felts the yarn together. So basically, like a felt is a non-woven fabric. If you're going to buy a sheet of felt, it's non-woven, and you can tear it apart and you can see how it's made. That's what this does to roving yarn. So you'll take your yarn and you do this kind of motion on your mat, and it mashes all of the fibres together, and the more you keep going, the tighter that gets, so you can make some really solid items from it. But then you can keep adding to it. So you're literally kind of mashing fibres, but you're creating something. If you're going for the book, you're creating something 3-dimensional, but it doesn't have to be 3-dimensional. You could even put things like floral designs on a cardigan. So you can put things on garments that you have already, as long as they've got fibres in them, like something that's knitted. Polyesters don't tend to felt as well as natural fibres. But have a go, have a play with them. So you will need needles, and you will need a felting block if you're first starting for it. So this is a good kit to go for. The only other thing you need to do then is to find something to felt. £9.49 is your price for those. We have another new book for you. Pop that over there. So now we're looking at embroidery. This is another one of those coffee table type of books that you just want to sit and look through and be inspired by. It comes in a folder, so the band comes off, and inside here you've got some transfer sheets as well. And we're going to give you some skeins of thread. Colours will vary, to get you started as well. So I can't guarantee which colours you're going to get, but you will get 5 free DMC skeins to go with it as well. But let's have a look. £25 RRP for this one. The book comes out of the folder if you wanted it to. So this is by Trish Burr. So there's a little introduction to her. She's self-taught. Needle painting. What a lovely way to call embroidery, because that's what it is, isn't it? Your thread is your palette in effect, and you're creating shading and... Oh, have a look on the website. We've got one of those storage boxes to keep all of your threads organised as well. Let's get on to the projects. So even washing your embroidery. So lots of hints and tips, different types of stitches that you can use as well. And this is all floral designs. See how that builds up? That's interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of instructions in here. Oh, that's looks like a photograph, doesn't it? And the iris. So these are the simple projects, and as you go through the book, the projects will become more complex. I love that sampler. It's so pretty, isn't it? Oh, look at the butterflies. Oh, so detailed. This is another one of those crafts that is relaxing and slow and time-consuming and mindful. I do like the bee. And the butterfly, so pretty. I suppose you could take any one of these, you know, if you wanted to put the butterfly next to a poppy head or make a whole bouquet of flowers. So the idea, I think, is showing you the techniques and the patterns that you can use, rather than the actual finished projects. So this could be on a tablecloth, it could be embroidering the flap on an evening bag would be lovely, or cushion covers, napkin, no, not napkins, they'd go in the wash too much, you'd spoil them. Bed linen, pictures on the wall, greetings cards. There's a lot of effort and time gone into these, isn't it? It must be so satisfying when you come to the end and you see what you've actually achieved. I love poppies. And there's all your patterns in the back as well. Whoops, but aren't they beautiful? Really detailed. And are the instructions as well. See, embroidery is another thing that I could just sit and do for hours, but then I'd never get any work done. Pansies. So again, it's £21.99. You're getting your 5 free skeins of embroidery thread with this one. I'd love to do that. It's got the bee there as well. I think the bee is my favourite. I'm sorry it's all about flowers, but I love the bee. And poppies, I love poppies. The poppies that I bought in the garden never recovered. I'm hoping they're going to come back next year. But it's nice that you've got your techniques there as well, because the actual stitches are quite simple, aren't they? Long and short stitches. And so there's nothing really complicated in here. That's long and short. Do they all use long and short? I think most of them do. I think that's all you're using. Oh, that makes it easy. Okay, £21.99. So I was getting rather engrossed in that. Just think, oh, I could do that. I could do that one. Nice heavy book as well. And remember, you're getting your 5 assorted colours of skeins. And again, there you are. We can't guarantee which ones you're actually going to get, but you will get quality DMC threads with that book as well. There we go. We have skeins of thread for you as well, which are these. So we've got 3 choices for you. So shall we go for the brights to start with, which is NZZW05 if you wanted to order this one. So this is the brights. You've got 36 skeins altogether. So 36, yeah, 36 skeins altogether. That's a lot, isn't it? And they're all different colours as well. But although we're calling these brights, we've got the bright purples and the pinks and the yellows, but you've got some quite subtle colours on there as well, and you've got some in the middle too. So an awful lot for your £9.99. Then we also have pastels. So again, we've got, I know that's really noisy when I do that, isn't it? 36 of those for your £9.99. So again, we've got, they're all different. So pastel pinks and greys and blues and pinks and purples. And then around here, you've got your sugared almond colours. And there's more in the middle as well. There's 3 layers there. So that's pastels. And then we've got variegated as well. These have been nice for the flowers, particularly if you're a beginner, because as you're embroidering the flowers, you don't need to keep changing the colour of the thread, because the colour of the thread changes all by itself. Works out at 27p a skein. And again, these are all different, and more in the middle there as well. And they're just £9.99. So that, I'd go for this one. If you're going to go for the book, or if you're just starting, I'd go for that one. But you will use it, remember, so if you wanted to stock up, seeing as they're only £9.99, then why not go for more than one? Okay, let me show you our needle threader. This is a fantastic idea to store threaded needles. I have one of these at home, and for me it's when I go travelling. It's in my bag. I have different coloured threads in the needles, and I can even tie a knot in the end of it, and they're all stored and ready to go. So this is the way that it works. So I just pull that out, there's my thread on the end of it, and it will store as well your embroidery threads, so you can have different needles with different threads in there as well, and just store them really easily if you're embroidering on the go. So this goes into one of the channels here, and we'll push that right in. The thread, when you twist it round, just goes inside there, so let's turn that around. That goes underneath that lip there, and then when you spin this around, come here, you can see all of the thread is tucked inside. Looks like a chainsaw, just tucked inside there. And you can store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 needles with thread on in there. So that's just regular thread. And again, as that spins round, helps to keep it from knotting. And it's a little bit of fun as well. So what a nice gift that would be for anybody that you know who sews. If you're looking for, are you Christmas shopping yet? Not a lot else to do. Mind you, I haven't done any. But nice little stocking filler, £9.99. And it's something a little bit different as well. And it doesn't take up much space, and it's got a lid to keep it nice and tight. That clicks into place, and that can go in your handbag or wherever. You know, just keeping it away from the kids as well. Actually, the kids will want to play with that, won't they? But it keeps everything organised. I do like to be organised. I like to know where everything is and everything has its place. So let's put that in there. Joyce, hi Joyce. Joyce wants to recap the panels. The pellets, sorry. She wants to look at my pellets again. There you go, Joyce. There's my pellets. These are recycled polyurethane pellets. There's 1 kilogram in total. If you're going to go for the doorstop panel, I would suggest maybe putting half of one of those in the bottom of the doorstop. That would make it really nice and heavy if it's a doorstop that you're going to use it as. If you just wanted to weight down something that's, I don't know, sitting on a shelf, or you've got a pin cushion, or you're making pattern weights and things like that, obviously this is going to go an awful lot further. It's only £5.99. I think it's a lot. I've got quite a lot of these at home actually, because I used to put rice or barley or some kind of pulse in the bottom of doorstops, and the thing is, it needs changing after a while, or if it gets wet, your rice is going to swell. And there's a possibility, certainly in our house, we have leaky doors. We've got quite an old house. Everything leaks. There is a possibility that it's going to get wet. Or even, I mean, it's on the floor. You're going to want to clean it at some point. So if you've got rice or something like that in there, or even sand can get, I don't know, sticky somehow if it gets wet. So my choice is to go for these. And again, at £5.99, you've got a fabulous price. So there you go, Joyce. That's my pellets. Nice and clean. Diane's messaging as well. Hi, Diane. And she says, didn't expect to see me this morning. No, this time yesterday, I didn't expect to be here. I've made a morning. Oh, thank you. Oh, what a wonderful, useful project it is, isn't it? Really pleased with those. Now, I'm normally here on a Saturday and a no, I'm not. I'm normally here on a Sunday and a Monday. So just 2 days a week. I never do Saturdays. Sunday and Monday are my days here normally, but I can't even remember why, but I swapped today for today. I think I keep mentioning about the embroidering on the flowers on these panels. If you're going to embroider on the panels, then do that before you put the heat and bond on the back, else you're going to find it really difficult to sew through. I'm just looking. I'm not checking my emails. I'm just seeing if you've come up with any more ideas for shops. No, I don't want that one. I want that one, and I want community and. Oh, Andrea, that is beautiful. Oh, have a look on Sewing Street Facebook page, and now go on, I'm going to have a look, and go to the community and have a look at Andrea's fox. That's amazing. What a lovely idea. And she's needle felted a fox and she's put it on a wooden block for a stand, that's beautiful. Oh, how long did that take you? Was that your first one? Is that something you do a lot of? It looks a real professional finish. Gorgeous. Embroidery. So I have some of the variegated threads, and I'm going to, I think, a bit of pink and a bit of blue, I think. And I'm just going to do some tiny French knots on the lavender, I think. Oh no, purple for that then, won't I? There has to be a purple in here. There we go. Oh, I have actually embroidered, I embroidered some lavender pouches with dried lavender inside them. And I use variegated thread, but actually, because I wanted them to be dark at the bottom of the flower, then going up to very light at the top of the flower. And I used a variegated thread because you can actually kind of cut the bit that you want. So that's where it goes into the darker bit. And I don't want too much, but then it automatically, as you keep embroidering, goes lighter and lighter and lighter. Let me get my scissors. And we'll cut a bit of that off. And because this is quite small, so I want to start dark there, but that's going to be too long, so I'm just going to chop the end off, which may seem a little bit wasteful, but you can felt that. Save all your bits. And I'm going to split this into 3s, because you get 6 strands of thread in each one of these. Come here. I'm talking to thread. Right, so just split those off. That's really satisfying. It always comes to a knot at the end when you do this, but... Oh, and we didn't. There we go. So we'll take a needle from our dome. Take that one out. And pop this one in. And I'll show you how I did the lavender. If I can ever thread the needle. There we go. So if I was embroidering, well, I am embroidering, aren't I? If I was embroidering, what I would do is take the knot somewhere away from the part that I'm embroidering, and then come up here afterwards, and then that can be chopped off later. And what I'm going to do, no bond web on the back for this one because you'll never get the needle in, and I'd maybe use a finer needle than this. I'm going to go in and out, and then I'm going to wrap this around the needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 is enough because this is quite small. And then pull that through. But before, I mean, if I pull that really tight, I've got a French knot. I don't want a French knot. I want all of those loops reasonably close together. And then instead of going straight back in from where I came, I'm going to go just a little way away. So I've got a long knot. You see that? I'm going to do one at the side so you can see. So coming up like that, in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 6 so you can see, so it's bigger. Hold that down while I pull the needle through, but don't pull it tight. So I've got them close together, but not a knot basically, and then come in just a little bit over to one side. And then when you start to build this up, do another one this way, in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out we come. Oh, just push those stitches down and then go back in this way. And as you're embroidering with this thread, it very gradually starts to become lighter and lighter. So in and out. 1, 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5, 6, hold it down. And you can see the way that it's building up, so it's all quite random. It looks a lot better when you've got quite a few stitches down there, but they look like the little buds on the lavender. So I'll just do a couple more. In and out. Everyone's going to be different as well. You'll never be able to recreate 3, 4, 5, 6 exactly the same flower. And you don't want to, because Mother Nature can't even do that. Pull that down and go back in again. And then just carry. I've gone on the applique bit now, look. But just keep building it up. So they're like little seeds. Let's do one up that way. Oh, there you go. So I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, not showing you what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull it down, hold it in place while you pull that through. And you've got a nice long knot. And we'll take that one in there. So keep doing like little, should we do another one? I'm going to have to unpick all of this now, aren't I? Because I've sewn over that bit. So bring it through. In and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull it through, but don't pull it tight. So I've got a long knot again. And then you can decide what the best place that is. That would go there. So I'm going to carry on, well I'm not, but if I was, I'd make that about that long normally, or well these are tiny if you're embroidering over the top, but just make it a little bit random. So you'll end up with one at the end there to give it some kind of shape. If you think your lavender needs to be a little bit fatter, you can do. Maybe put some green at the bottom here and put a stem on there. This one I think I'd do a stem stitch there, then I might do a lazy daisy over the pink ones, maybe the same on the sunflowers there as well. And then just long straight stitches, I think, going over that one. But I like the texture of embroidery, so it makes it look a little bit more expensive, doesn't it? That's going to take me ages to unpick all of those now. I might just miss that one off when I make up my my panel. That's really tiny. I may have used 2 threads instead of 3 for that one. So I'll pop that back in my dome. Oh, by the way, if you're checking out on your pellets, I think we've crashed the website pellet-wise. Order on the phone lines, please, because that's going to be the easiest way to order right now. So it's 0800 001 4433. You will have a UK-based call centre. In fact, a lot of them are working from home at the moment as well. And they'll be able to take your order for you. And that's a free phone number as well. So that's the best way to order your pellets at the moment. Multi-order those if you like. They're quite heavy. They're 1 kilogram in weight, but don't worry, we don't charge you any extra for your postage. And if you have bought anything from us already this morning, you won't pay any postage for it because that's the way we roll. Is that a phrase? Let me give you a reminder of the embroidery skeins that we have for you. 288 metres in each one of these packets. These are your brights, so 36 skeins altogether, and they are all different. So bright pinks and reds and greens and purples and lovely, and there's some quite muted as well. So you have got a nice selection, and you can see you've got blues and white. Only £9.99. There's black in there as well, so nice outlines, or if you're embroidering features and faces on teddy bears and the like. So it's not all about embroidering flowers. They're just really useful. £9.99 is the price for those. And then we have the pastels, so same deal, 36 skeins altogether for your £9.99. So we've got pastels of every colour that you could imagine there. And there's more at the bottom, look. And then finally the rainbows, only got 5 of those left. That's going really quickly. They do make lovely flowers when you see how they almost self-shade themselves as you're sewing. 36 skeins again for your £9.99. Right, let's take a look at an embroidery hoop. These are really difficult to find, you know, I have tried. So you have embroidery hoop, it's solid wood, apart from the handle, and this clamps onto your table. So you've got both hands, or onto the side of your chair if you're sitting on a chair that has wooden arms or something, that's fine. Or the tray that you have on your chair, wherever you're sitting, and that leaves your hands free. So you've got both hands that you can pull the needle through and out again. It's a 10-inch embroidery frame. It's nice and deep as well, which I like, and it's only £19.99. So what you're going to do is unscrew the wooden post at the side. That clips on there. That screws back up again, and there's a knob on the side as well, so you can, that helps to keep it facing the right way. This tightens up as well. You've got a washer on the side there, a wing nut, and it can twist around, so just undo that. You can have this exactly where you want it to be, the height that you want it to be, and then just do that. Nice way of displaying your work when you're finished as well, isn't it? When you're in between. Just wanted to go for hoops on their own. Oh, unscrewed the wrong one. Hoops on their own, we have those for you as well. So first of all, we have the large hoop. So this is 24 centimetre hoop, 9.4 inches for £5.99. And again, it's wood. It's just classic, traditional. These are a nice to actually display your work as well, I think. Or even if you've got your favourite fabrics, just to make a display on the wall. I've seen lots of hoops going up staircases before now, or decorating your sewing room, because they're just really easy. But if you've been doing any kind of, I don't know, cross stitch or embroidery, and you want to frame it and put it on the wall, then when you finish using it to embroider, you can use it as a frame and put it on the wall. It's only £5.99, so that's a really good price as well. This is actually 10-inch, 9.6. No, oh, make your mind up. It says 9.6 inch on the label and 10 inch on. I'm going to measure it. We've got 9.4 on the details. For goodness sake. Right, where's my measurement? Right, I don't know where you measure embroidery hoops. The gap on the inside is 9.5 inches. And on the outside is 10.25 inches. So everybody's wrong then, isn't it? So 9.4. Oh, I see. 24 centimetres is 9.4 inches. But it's 9.5. Do you know, I'm losing the will. I don't I don't really care. That's the large one, but it does say 9.6 on here and then 10 on the inside. They just can't make their minds up. We'll call that large. We'll call this one medium, which is 8 inches. 20, look, it says on both there, we've got 8 inches here and we've got 8 inches there. See? 7.8 inches. £5.49, so that's the medium. And then we have the small, which is 6 inches. Oh, it says 5.8 on the label and 6 inches on the hoop. I don't really think it makes any difference, does it, when you're embroidering, whether you've got 2/8 of an inch difference in the sizes. It's not going to affect your work, I'm sure. That's £3.99. Actually, for display purposes, all three of those would make a nice display, wouldn't they? I wouldn't just have one if I'm hanging them on the wall, and two's a bit odd, because odd numbers always work better, so I'd have like 3 of them as a nice little display. Yeah, have a look on Pinterest. I have made before now. You can use the top of to make storage bags. So if you make up a box like you make up a gift bag with the top of the size of the hoop and then thread it through, you get a really like firm top to your bag, and then you could hang it up. So because I've done this a few times. I made one which was it's in one of my books actually, where you do that, but you've got a really long bag to keep gift wrap in. I don't use gift wrap anymore, but that's what I made it for. So you can store all of your long rolls, and then with a hook on the side, you can hang it up on the back of a door, and that folds flat. So you can make storage items. Embroidery hoops aren't just about embroidery. Have a look on Pinterest for more. Oh, we've got Sewing Street TV on Pinterest as well, if you wanted to have a look for some more ideas and inspiration there. We've got more books for you. So we're all hand sewing and hand felting in this hour. This is the Ultimate Sashko Sauce book. Not Sashko sauce that you put on chicken or anything like that. It's it's basically taking you through different kinds of techniques. And it's full of ideas and inspiration as well. So if you're new to Sashko, in fact, both of these books are fantastic for you if you are new to Sashko. Sashko actually translates as little stab, because that's the kind of motion that you're making when you're making kind of the running. It's all running stitches, but you stab it down and you lift it up again. So that's a bit of information. This is Susan Briscoe. She's written a few books on Sashko. So an introduction. I like the history and where this actually came from. Not just what does Sashko mean, but why did people start doing Sashko, and where did it start? So, and then you've got the basic techniques, and of course you can adapt these to any kind of design that you like. And then we have projects for you. So some of them are quite small. So you've just got sampler pictures there. Those are quite small little pictures. Table mats. So you don't have to do a coat. Or curtain. That's pretty. Little gift bag. So again, they're really traditional designs, but you can make modern items from them. So patterns are included, your directions, the tools that you're going to need, lots of inspiration and ideas in here, and the history as well. So it's a complete Sashko guide. And again, different, they're great, and they're just so detailed. So you don't have to, come up with something amazing like these. You can start small, because you've learned all of the stitches. So if it's just a coaster that you want to make, then start with something like that. Move on to a placemat, then a table runner, then a cushion cover, or a bag, a little drawstring bag all the way to a handbag. And before you know it, you're going to be making clothing. That is £11.99. Susan has also written Simple Sashko. And we've got 8 projects, so particularly for the beginner. This one, and the projects again are simple, achievable projects. So you've still got your getting started, following patterns, marking patterns, tools and thread that you're going to need, And then simple things like a tote bag, you've got the pictures in there again, cushion covers, there's all of your different stitches. Or of course you can apply these designs to anything that you want to make. I like the storage pockets, that's going to be really useful. Samplers. Okay, so that is that's just £6.99. That's a good price, isn't it, to get you started with Sashko. Give you a reminder actually of those panels that we have. These have been so popular today. We have a haberdashery and a florist. Now, they are available on their own, but they're £19.99, so I don't think we're even going to go there, because this is your value for money. If you don't want the both of them, either give the panel away as to a friend or a family member, or of course you can make one of these for a gift and keep one for yourself as well. We are creating a whole street. We are Sewing Street after all, and we need more than 2 shops. So we've been asking for your ideas as to what you'd like to see on Sewing Street. And we'll be producing 1 or 2 of these every single month, so you can build up a collection. So we've had a bank, a hairdresser's, a nail bar. Keep putting all of your ideas on Facebook, and there's a poll on there as well. So you can vote for your favourite idea. Oh, Andrea, these are amazing. Sorry, I'm just... On Facebook, not the Facebook fans, but on the Facebook page, Andrea posted a picture of a fox that she'd needle felted, and I said, was this her first one? And she says, no, not her first. And she's put an amazing picture. That cat face is so realistic. And the guinea... I love guinea pigs. They've got so much character. Oh, wow, you're so talented. The cat's a work in progress. Oh... We've had a wool shop, the bank I think I mentioned. Have a look on our Sewing Street Facebook page, and if you do have an idea, I thought a pet shop would be nice, a cafe maybe. We've had a 1930s style garage. I'd like the idea of the old-fashioned petrol pumps outside there. Come and let us know, put your ideas on there. Everything that you need in the kit, so you're going to have your bonder web for the applique, there's some wadding for the roof, so that you can put that in there and then quilt through it if you wish. Your toy filler is included as well, your full instructions are included. The only extra thing you may want to pop on your order are the pellets to weight it down. We don't put those on your order just in case you want to use something else instead. And all of that for £29.99. Making them for yourself? Woo. Making them for a gift? I nearly went backwards then. We have a brand new needle felting book. I love that rabbit. Actually, there isn't a cat in here. Andrew, you should write a book. And again, if you're just starting, you think, well, I'd love to have a go at needle felting. I don't know what to make. I don't know how to do it. There's loads of ideas in here. I think, was it 20 projects altogether? Yeah, 20 projects for you for £10.99. We are almost out of time, aren't we? I'm going to be back again on Sunday and Monday, unless I've forgotten I've swapped again. But let's take a look at what's coming up tomorrow here on Sewing Street. At 8 o'clock in the morning we have beautiful bundles, I'm assuming of fabric. At 9 o'clock, fabulously fast-track quarter fun with Kerry from Living in Loveliness. At 10 o'clock is the Elna 680 sewing machine and tools. We carry on sewing for another couple of hours even though we're not live. So at 11 o'clock it'll be the Lewis and Irene fabrics, which is the show from this morning. And if you wanted to see the demonstration from Wendy Orlando on how to make those doorstops I've just shown you, then you can tune in at 12 o'clock tomorrow, or of course you can take a look on YouTube. All of our shows are uploaded onto YouTube usually by the end of the day, so if you go onto YouTube and search Sewing Street, it'll come up with lots of videos and there'll be a Sewing Street icon which is round. Click on that and then it'll take you through all the different sections. Click on videos and then the videos will come up in date order. So this show, or this morning's shows, will probably be on later on this afternoon or tomorrow. If you go on there now, you'll see yesterday's show and they stay there forever. So in effect, you've got a resource of 4 months and 3 days worth of shows. So, and there's lots of different types of shows on there as well. We cover dressmaking, we cover quilting, we cover homewares, we cover projects for beginners, and we cover some more advanced projects as well. Every morning at 8 o'clock we bring you a special offer, our early bird. This morning it was 4.5 meters. Well over half of the stock is sold out. You can still order now. You can order all the way through to the rest of the day while we have stock available for you. Just £10.96 saves you £3 off the usual price. So they're solid quilting cotton. We haven't brought you, remnants because we wanted to reduce the price. It's a really nice quality cotton. It's going to be great for quilting, bag lining, homewares, whatever it is that you're making. And they're useful colours to have in your stash as well. Your just in cases. So check out your baskets if you have anything there already. If you just joined us, take a look on the website on sewingstreet.com, and that'll give you the details of everything that we've had over the last 3 hours. It's been lovely to have your company this morning. I'll see you again on Sunday.